back again for our second episode of the Infra-Red podcast. I've got Damien Coletto as my co-host tonight, and we're interviewing Maddy and Jess in the band Oceanique.
Hello.
And yeah, they're from Walpole originally, and we'll be talking about their band and everything that's been happening and how far they've progressed over the 9 months you guys been together.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's playing a second thing over the top. That's muted.
Should I just turn that off?
That's so weird.
It's alright. This is still trials. We're still getting the hang of everything.
Can I? Yeah.
So we're still good to start discussing it? No?
Well, it's playing two things over the top. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna mute that tab.
Yeah, you do that.
And then I'm gonna mute.
Just technical stuff.
Yeah. Here it is. Got it. We're all good.
We're all good.
Let's start now.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. All right. So Oceanique, tell us about it. Tell me and Damien about Oceanique.
Ooh. Well, we started off as a duo. We're kind of like folky, indie folk. We kind of brand ourselves as, I guess. And yeah, we played for like 9 months as a duo, and then just in August we got like a full band together, and it's been great.
Yeah,
we've had a lot of fun.
It's really fun. And like a lot of venues that you say, oh, we got a band now, they're like, yes, you're booked here.
Yeah, the band thing really helped us kind of getting...
Because I think we got to the point where like we're playing so many duo shows, we played like all the venues we could play at, that like we were doing good, but like to help us get more gigs, it was like, yeah, we kind of needed to get out of band.
Yeah. And so it's only a 4-piece, 5-piece?
Five piece. So it's like us, Hugh, Darcy and Isaiah. So bass, drums, lead guitar. I said that the wrong way around. Anyway. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so it's been really good kind of thing. So yeah.
And whereabouts have you guys played and stuff like that? And how have you guys progressed and everything? Like,
when we started, we were playing like, as a duo, we were playing like open mics. We thought they were like really cool gigs anyway.
And we'd get like our first, I remember our first paid gig. I don't actually remember where it was, but I remember like starting to get a few like actually gigs where you got money, and we were like, you know, I kind of just want to just do it just because it's a gig. I don't really need to be paid. And then nowadays it's kind of like,
it's good money though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like depends. Door sale gigs, kind of you don't get a lot. You can like make like $20, but like, and then gigs where they kind of like give you a fee, you get a lot more money out of. Yeah. But you know, it's music. It's fun.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Is that how you know you made it? When you finally get paid for a gig?
You know you made it when like someone like sets up your equipment and like tunes your guitar.
Tunes my guitar, and like that's when I know that like we've made it.
Really?
I don't have to tune my guitar.
Has that actually happened yet?
No.
I was
Definitely
say, that's
not.
awesome.
But yeah. So we played at like Mojo's. I don't know, 459. We played the Rosemount main stage last Wednesday, which was insane.
Really?
It was
There was so much room, I just didn't know what to do with myself.
On a Wednesday? What events running on a Wednesday?
The extracurricular activity, so it's like for students.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
really?
like free entry.
The Wednesday ones.
Yeah, they have like
I've never
board
heard of that.
games
Sounds
and
really
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was really good. Like I said, the stage was huge, so it was kind of intimidating. Like I remember like moving, and like I took like a giant step, and there was still so much room, and I was like, just gonna stay here. But yeah, that was really fun. So I don't know, where else have we played? Anyway, you can kind of think of.
Grumpy's, Beaufort Street Songwriters Club.
Yeah.
They're always good venues. And the Sonar Room. It was one of our favourite venues.
Sonar Room?
Sonar
Yeah,
Room
it's like in
Freo.
Freo.
And we played there twice, but they stopped doing the Wednesday
I guess like it's like
I've
a new
noticed that a
venue.
lot of the sort of live band venues are in Fremantle.
Yeah, Freo's like kind of the
place to
place.
be.
Either that or like the city, like the Bird, and like
We played there too.
we
that
played
was
the
cool.
Bird.
What is
That was
it
fun.
like playing at the Berg? 'Cause I've only ever been there when they've just had a DJ on, or it's just been chill.
It's
vibes,
fun. The
basically.
sound guy there's the drummer from Methyl Ethel.
Yeah, he
Oh,
is.
really?
He is.
Yeah,
No
so
way.
he's so nice, and
Yeah,
the sound there's
lovely.
great, and it's like a nice, kind of smallish room. So you get like a few people like in there, and it kind of looks quite full.
Yeah.
So and it's like kind of good vibes. They have the outs. It's kind of like, to me, the Bird is like a city Mojo's.
Yeah,
it's
really
a beautiful venue.
Yeah.
Especially the outdoor area. Outdoor
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Outdoor areas are
And they have
amazing.
speakers out
Yeah.
the outdoor area of what's like the live music inside.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
I didn't know
So like
that
when we
either.
started playing, like people from outside actually came inside to like watch because like they obviously heard it on like the thing. Because when we were out there and someone starts playing, you're like, oh, they're on now. Like let's go inside.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other venues then? Like we were talking prior about the Butter Factory in Denmark and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah, we
so-
played a Festival of Voice down in Denmark, which they hold this yearly festival. Is it yearly? It's yearly.
Yeah, it's yearly.
It's been running for a long time though, or is it? Do you guys know?
I remember
think
when
when we
quite
were
a
younger,
while.
it was still a thing. Like when
See
we
if
were
we
like,
can pull that up.
yeah.
Because so it's
Pull
just
up,
called
Jamie.
Denmark Festival of Voice.
The
Yeah.
Voice.
I can do that.
Yeah, so they kind of have like a different
It's
theme
really
every
cool. They
year.
have like lots of different stuff. So they have people doing poetry and like it's just like they have a TAFE in Denmark too, like a music one. So they have like the music TAFE, which is cool to kind of see because it's like I don't know, kind of like younger people doing it. It's like I don't know, good to see what like.
Is it this one right here?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one we played
That's
at.
pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, thank you guys for playing at the Denmark festival.
I don't
There
know
we
if they
go.
have it like it's Denmark. I don't know if they have a really up to date website.
Looks
pretty
good. Yeah.
Did you play this year?
Yeah.
Go to 2019 photo archive up the top.
Hey.
Or the video archive. Let's see if we
Ooh.
can pull some stuff up.
Actually,
Because they'll be able to see all of this on the cameras.
no, I don't know if we made it to the videos.
Maybe photos.
Maybe
I
actually
saw
that-
someone snapping
Yeah.
some photos.
What time was your set and stuff like that?
We played during the day.
There we are.
Which
Oh.
one?
Yeah.
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 Oh, there you go.
We were quite at the top of the photo list. Did you
That's
see
pretty
that?
cool. So, yeah.
Oceanique.
Well done.
That's funny.
No, it was really fun and like because we went to school in Denmark, went to a boarding school, so like some of our teachers
I came down to support
came
you.
Yeah,
down and
that's
like
awesome.
we
We
haven't
hadn't
seen them since we went to
Yeah.
school, so it was kind of like, wait, who are you again? Like, oh right, like yeah, so it was
good.
really good, like really supportive crowd and stuff too. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. It was really fun.
It's not too bad. So, what time was the set though? It was like midday, afternoon?
I think
Yeah,
we
they
played
did it. We played it like
11 or something.
Yeah.
They had it like
Oh, really?
running through the
from
whole
like 9
day
to like 9 at
to
night.
into the
It's
night.
like a 2-day thing.
Yeah.
We played
so-
on both days though, didn't we?
Yeah, we played the Butter Factory, which is like an art gallery. They don't really have gigs there, so when we got the kind of lineup, like got the
They had only like
venue,
a few gigs there, so when we got it, we were like,
It
we're
just
playing
sounds
the
like a
Butter
cool
Factory.
venue though.
Yeah,
The Butter Factory.
that's what we thought.
They, I
It's
didn't,
really
when we
cool.
went there, I'd never been there, so like they actually had like a full stage and
Yeah.
like it was cool.
They had like the art gallery kind of like these little steps up to the art gallery and then like down was like the stage. kind of
yeah,
stuff.
they
It's
set
really
it up
cool.
really well. Yeah.
Good.
So
And so
nice.
that was just when you guys were a duo, or did you have the
Yeah,
band
we
then,
didn't
or-
even. I don't even think the band thing was like on the table. Or was it?
June.
Yeah,
It
I think we
was.
started like just only like
Yeah.
rehearsing as a band.
It was funny though because we went down south with like our band just as like a little to
yeah,
take
we
them
had
down
we had
south.
a gig and it actually was like an awesome. It was like a house concert, but they set up like a marquee kind of thing, like outside, like right where all the trees were, and like
And
looking
looked
out to
to
this
the
like
ocean,
beach, and it was
yeah.
just so nice.
And our band, like the boys came down with us, like just for like a
Because
weekend.
we were like, oh, you guys just want to come down for a weekend, like,
Yeah.
no, we're driving down there anyway. Got 3 seats in the car. And they're like, yeah, totally. Like, and then like we have photos, and it's like, wow, they were just.
And
Totally
I remember when
band
we
shots.
took the photos, like someone was like, that just looks like a band shot. And then like a month later,
And it
we
just,
were like,
snapped.
in like,
Yeah.
they were
Do
like,
it.
you guys are part of our band. Like, which is good because we're all mates and like it makes it easy and it's really good.
So, what were their names again though? So,
Hugh plays lead guitar and
Yeah.
he's brothers with Darcy who plays the drums.
yeah.
And then Isaiah on the bass.
And so have they played for long? Or like, how long have you guys been playing guitar and keyboard and like?
Well, I've only been playing I did piano lessons when I was like at school, primary school, but like didn't really keep up with it. So kind of like maybe like just over a year, like not really a long time at all. So
Yeah, I only really picked up like the guitar fully and like made it like a thing like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
No way.
But like I used to play when I was like 12 and 10 10 and stuff.
Yeah, because you never really took
But
it
like
on.
it was like
Yeah.
a G chord and an E minor, and like I remember I learned like every rose has its thorn because Miley Cyrus covered that song. So I only knew how to play songs that had a G, an E minor, a D, and a C for a while. But now you can play. Yeah.
Are they the ice cream chords or are they the ice cream? You know what I mean? Like the 4 pops.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? The ice cream chords?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They call it the ice cream chords. I guess this means the doo-wop chord. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a
Okay.
4 chord song.
And there's like 80% of like all music is literally
Yeah.
like 4 chords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so with Isaiah and Hugh and stuff like that, so that they've been playing along as well? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hugh and Darcy are in another band that actually goes to TAFE, Sugarwood. And like we've done a few gigs with them because like I don't know how, but like when we got the band together, we ended up on so many lineups with them. Like it was so weird, and people were like, "Wait, you're in the same band?" Like, but
Yeah.
nah, it's
So
cool.
they originally came from Darwin, and they
Yeah.
played a lot
Wow.
of music kind of up there and
He
stuff.
was in like a couple of bands.
Yeah,
And
and
they've
then-
been doing it for a long time. They're all really talented. Izzy was never a bass player, but he's so talented he can pick up like whatever he
Yeah.
wants to do. So we're
Yeah.
like trying to play bass, and he's like, yes.
So being in quite a few bands then, is he young or old or?
Hugh's 23.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
quite young still.
Yeah, and Darcy's only just turning 18.
Yeah, he
wow.
looks young. He's a young
Yeah,
guy.
and
Strapping young lad.
Yeah.
and Isaiah's like 20,
19.
19, turning 20.
Yeah,
Sorry, Izzy. But yeah. So it's been great playing with them. So
honestly,
yeah.
Yeah, and it just works and just jam. Like you guys just jam together and just.
Yeah, well, because we were playing as duo, we had like all of kind of like our set already, so it was kind of just like, here's our songs, do you want to like add stuff to them kind of thing, and it worked out really well. They kind of just add their own creativity and make it like
Yeah.
things, so yeah.
Yeah, because that's actually something I wanted to bring up. Is it when you like created this project, did you only have you two in mind? So when you added the whole band dynamic, did it change almost everything, or is it still you guys as the principal songwriters?
It's
Yeah.
it's we're still like we write the songs.
So when Hugh comes in, he's like, "I got this awesome riff." You're like, "Shut the fuck up." You know, place.
We let them have their creativity.
No, we do. We kind of just let them do whatever they want when we're doing it, and kind of like to the same structure as how we wrote it.
Yeah.
And like we trust them with what they do. Like they're all talented. We know that they're gonna whatever they add is gonna like
Yeah.
add
Yeah.
to the song.
Yeah.
So-
We essentially write the songs and stuff and kind of just
And they're all in other bands, so like, and Izzy does a solo, Isaiah, but I always call him Izzy. He does his solo thing as well, so they're all like writing their own kind of songs and
Yeah.
stuff. So I guess it'd be hard. Like we really want to write like at least one band song where we write it together, but it just hasn't happened yet. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like at the moment we just write them.
Yeah.
And I think it's how it would probably be.
yeah.
'Cause,
Because
like-
Oceanique's kind of our project. We kind of like started it.
we
and
started
stuff.
it, and like we
Yeah.
still play duo shows. Like the band's kind of to help us like go further and
play
get
Yeah, and
other
progress.
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
get the connections and networking and stuff.
Yeah.
Because as what we were talking about before, we actually went live, is it's all about who you know. And like you got to be able to find the right people to be able to help get your foot in the door and
Yeah.
push you in the right direction so you can get gigs and stuff. Have you, when you've been trying to get like booked a sewing room or anything like that, have people approached you or have you approached people?
Well,
Ooh.
only now we've actually in the last like week or so we've gotten a lot of like emails.
Someone's like, oh, this band recommended you guys, and like we're just seeing if you wanted to play, and we're like,
So that's
somebody
pretty cool, though.
recommended
Yeah, and,
us.
it's
Like,
exciting.
it's only like just started happening. Like we usually
we
even
put a lot of
now,
work into emailing and
venues,
like putting
yeah.
ourselves
Yeah.
out there and kind of like just
Because that's what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
exposure and
Yeah.
just meeting people, honestly.
and going to gigs and networking.
Yeah.
Like that's like a
big
thing.
one.
That's like part of like your work, I guess. It's like to go out and watch other people play. Like
That's it. Show
yeah,
your support. and
yeah,
enthusiasm.
yeah. And the Perth music scene's amazing,
Yeah.
and it's really doing good things at the moment. And like,
And there's so many live venues. I mean, we probably played at like most of like the live venues, but there's just like so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's so
Is there
many.
like a hub in Perth for people? Like, if you wanted to go out, like you didn't have a goal in mind, you wanted to go out, but you wanted to hear live music, where would you go in Perth? Because I mean, if you wanted to go out nightclubbing, you would go to Northbridge. If you want to go out and listen to a live band, where would you go?
Probably
Frio is like
Yeah.
like Mojo's is kind of like the place in
Yeah.
Frio.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's like this new thing that Keely Connolly set up, and she's amazing, and it's called Toasty Tunes, and they do kind of like a weekly gig guide
And like a Spotify.
and like a Spotify playlist like that goes with the gig
Is
gig
that on
guide.
Facebook as well?
Yeah, it's like
We try and
Facebook.
find that. I've never heard of that. So what was it called again? Sorry,
Toasty Tunes.
Toasty Tunes.
Yeah, it's new, and like
She
everyone
only-
I say about it, they're like, "Oh, I never heard of that," and I'm like,
And-
"You need to hear about it.
Yeah,
Like,
they
it's
help us
great."
out, like even with our band launch, she like
They
did an article
call
about
on
us to like
us
help
and-
promote it and stuff. So
Yeah.
Was that
it this thing
article,
here?
Was that in
no.
no.
Who knows
What is
what that is?
Okay.
Should get those guys on there.
How about this one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the one.
And so Keely, do you know? I've never heard of Keely before.
She's a musician.
I stumbled across her Instagram page, and I was saying to Jess for ages, and like whenever I was on like Instagram or something, I'd be watching like a live, like
They
a
have a
video.
website.
Yeah, they have a website.
Nice.
If you, our article's probably on there if you want to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if we can pull that up. Definitely.
But yeah, so
I think if you just keep going down, maybe. I think because they have all the art. Oh no, it's that one art.
It was like before you had like was
Oh,
it
no, maybe
X
not.
Voice? Was it called like X
It'd be
Express?
under guide?
Express, yeah.
no, I think it's go to reviews maybe, or news
Yeah, on the
interviews. Yeah, there,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and scroll down. Keep
Oh,
going.
they interviewed Maddie.
Oh, they interviewed Win.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
there it is.
This is yours?
No way.
Yeah.
It's first- Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was only recent because we only launched the band in August. So, yeah,
Oh, so, yeah, really recent. It's only August.
Yeah, we've only played like maybe
like under like close
definitely
to 10 band
close to
shows.
10, but definitely under
Still,
10.
that's alright though. 10 band shows since August. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good actually.
Yeah. We're in November now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not November at
No,
all.
I was gonna say our sync.
We're a few months away from that.
November's like yeah.
It's still a little while. Like scared me for a second. It's like shit, I missed my birthday. Are you a Vikings fan, Jess, or is that just a nice top? Do you follow the NFL? Because you're wearing that.
Oh, in
Vikings.
there,
Yeah.
you know
Minnesota.
the theme
The
was
Minnesota.
like purple.
Yeah. We just had like a Minnesota Vikings jersey.
No, I like searched for a purple shirt, and that was the only one I could find.
So hard.
Purple's a hard colour to find.
It is
just
actually.
saying.
It's really hard.
Mm.
But I've had a few people ask me that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
setting the wrong image really. I don't even know what do they play.
The NFL.
NFL. There we go.
Go Pats.
And so back on that, which one was Hugh and Izzy? And
So it's
and,
going from left to right. Darcy,
Oh, Darcy, sorry.
Isaiah, Jess, then me, then Hugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's a good dude. He's a really nice guy. Like every time
Yeah.
I meet him, he's always got a drink in his hand and ready to party.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yes.
So how did you meet Damien actually as well?
Actually, speaking of the band recommendations, it was because of a mutual. One of my mates, his name is Robin Bottrell, and I asked him to play like a solo gig, and he said, "No, I can't do it because I'm too busy with my full-time band." But he said, "Like, I have this perfect band for you, called Oceanique."
Oh, that's
I
cool.
was like, "Oh, I trust Robin."
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have, but no. And I did, and I found your music. I was like, "Oh, this is great stuff." And sadly, just we couldn't get it working because we needed covers like to
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
originals. But he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You were like,
I
we need
think-
the originals. Like, damn it.
Yeah, I
But
think back then we just didn't have enough
material
material to
Yeah.
kind of fill such a like
Yeah,
a long
it's a long
thing.
one. Yeah.
Do you have enough
Yeah.
material now for a set?
Uh,
Like, that's-
Originals?
of
How
like
long
a
was that one originally?
That one was about an hour.
Oh,
no, it was
yeah.
like 2 hours. No, so it was actually 2
Oh,
hours.
2
Oh,
hours.
yeah. I feel like we have like 45 minutes
With the band, 45 minutes, but I feel like me and you could probably stretch it to an hour and 15.
So that's
We
what
need
the most
really.
hectic thing is though, is that for me, whenever I DJ, an hour is not long enough for me.
Yeah.
But then when you're doing like a band kind of situation,
Yeah.
it's a long time.
It's
Yeah.
It's
so
a
long,
long
especially
time.
as like a duo. We played like a 45-minute set the other day, and like that was, I don't know what it
I
is.
think we kind of just like almost were like we've been playing with the band for like our recent gigs, and then when we like played a duo show where like the band's not there, like maybe people don't like us just as a duo. So we were like really nervous and like really like it's a 45-minute set. Are people gonna want to sit and listen to like two girls like us playing guitar and keyboard like
For like
45
Yeah.
minutes?
So
And
that
then
actually was a
it was a
really good
great
gig.
gig and we got great feedback and they all loved us. So we were like, oh,
And see,
there we
that's
go.
just part of it though, like being nervous and anxious and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think it adds to your playing abilities. I think it makes you
Yeah.
want to play better because you're like, oh, if I fuck up.
Yeah.
See, that's a similar thing with me. Like, I can go and DJ in front of 1,000 people, not care. But then as soon as I get on the microphone, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I cannot go on the microphone and try and do shout outs or talk to
Yeah.
people. I just get so anxious and I'm worried about my voice and how
Yeah.
I'm sounding, and I just can't do
Well,
it.
because it's like linking back to being a duo. Because when you're on your own up there, it's such a personal thing.
Yeah.
Because it's and there's no when you got a band, you're like you can look at each other and be like, we can pull through. But when it's just the two of you, you're kind of looking at each other like, damn, we gotta like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it's
real
just
atmosphere.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we really need to support each other.
But I really actually loved playing studio.
I enjoyed
I
it.
love the band and it's so fun.
But it was nice to
it's
kind of
nice-
strip everything back again and
It's
like
kind of like how
Back
we
to your roots.
like how we
Yeah.
wrote the songs in the beginning. So like it was nice. Yeah.
Do you, so
There you go.
Sorry. Do you think that you think like forming this band just like increased your bond and like strengthened your relationship as sisters or at all
oh,
I mean
I reckon we've always been really close.
Yeah, like we're twins, we spend
like
a lot of time
and like
together.
being in Walpole, we were like each other's best friends.
So I was gonna say like living in like a country town like that, it kind of like is that why you guys started playing music? Is it because oh shit I'm just around you all the time? Like,
Yeah.
That's how I got playing drums. It was like my cousin. I was with my cousin. He played guitar. I'm like, I guess I'll learn drums. You know,
Yeah.
is that how you guys formed? It's just like
Yeah,
I
we
guess
were
we could
kind
do it.
of we both started playing guitar.
And then Mad got a little bit better than me and I just couldn't handle it, so I had to pick up a different instrument. So I chose the keyboard.
And then we've always loved music and stuff, so it was kind of like just like a hobby kind
And
of
I
thing.
feel like we kind of just like wrote songs as young kids anyway, and like
Yeah, I remember like in primary school, like showing our like singing teacher, look at this song we wrote.
yeah,
like
all the way back then.
Yeah,
We were,
and, like-
destined to be songwriters.
But yeah, so we've kind of grown up together and like moving up to Perth
Yeah.
together and like stuff and kind of like yeah, we've definitely pretty
It's
close.
just worked kind of thing. It's just bonded you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you guys first started, were you guys? Is that what made you guys pick up the instruments? Like what made you guys go, hey, let's do this? Like what was like the catalyst? I guess you could say. Or were you so young you can't really?
It was kind of just always a hobby. Like we
Yeah,
never really
it
thought
wasn't-
about like we kind of never thought you
As,
could
like-
do music
As
as like
a
a
kid,
thing.
it was like always my dream to be like a musician, and I just thought, you know, like dream a little bit less, like
Yeah, and that's
Not-
what everyone says
yeah.
though. Like,
And you kind of tell people like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, oh, like a musician or like a singer. And they're like, oh, everyone wants to be
Yeah,
that.
they'll
So
just
you
say
kind
it,
of, you kind of just didn't say it or anything because it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's just like the cheesy thing that everyone wants to do.
Exactly.
Like say you
yeah.
want to be the president.
Yeah, and like, yeah, exactly. And I remember, like, I said to Mum, like, because we were at uni, and she's like, what do you actually want to do? Because we were hating it. And I was like, oh, you know, like, do music. And she's like, well, why aren't you? And I was like, because, I don't know.
Isn't that everybody's dream to be a musician, do music, like do that? And she's like, no. And we're like, what, really? Like we were actually shocked. Like I
Yeah.
thought it was actually like everyone wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Turns out no, not everyone wants.
But see, a lot of people get told it's like, you know, dream of something realistic and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I always got told that. My parents always told me that, and friends told me that, family told me that, and then now that's all I do. Like, I've been doing it full time professionally for 4 years, and it just kind of just like stuck it to them. It was just like, well, look at it. It's like, that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and there's got to be people out there doing music, creating. Otherwise,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be music.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
like, there's got to be those people, and like, even if you start small, everyone starts small. Like all the huge artists, they started playing in a band,
Exactly.
playing the small pubs. Like you know. like-
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
always a way to find the talent, or you know, find people. It's just you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Unless you
do
go and
it.
play the gig, no one knows that you're at the gig,
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not putting yourself out there, who's gonna care? Who's gonna notice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's something you really want to do, I think, why not do it? Like,
If you really
Yeah.
cared, you make yourself do it. you
yeah.
know?
And like the music industry is hard. Like the
It
amount
is.
of times, like, because like we like starting out. Because we started like at TAFE in Cert 3, like actually doing gigging and stuff like that, but we had no idea what we were doing. I don't
No
feel like
clue.
anyone has any idea,
No.
but like just like the songs we wrote back then to like now, just so different.
Yeah, we have like a whole new set. Even to like 2 months ago, we have like a whole new set of new
Yeah.
songs because the songs that we were playing we don't like anymore.
I feel like we've learnt more and we're like, oh, we can write this better. We can, yeah.
I feel like only now we've kind of started to get like a solid set where we're really happy with and proud of kind of the songs
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah.
When you guys go to create your music and stuff, because you sent us a demo before, and we'll pull that up and listen to that soon. But
Ooh.
how do you like create your lyrics, and what gives you the vibe to be able to like move that song? Like, do you start off with a riff on the guitar, or do you start off with a few keys on the piano? Or
We usually we focus like a lot on the lyrics before we actually do the instrumentation. So we
Okay.
kind of like, I don't know, one of us will have an idea, and then like
Or like a line or
just one line or
yeah.
something, and like Mad usually starts like just playing some like chords on the guitar, but not really like like
a
making
riff or anything.
her bit like
yeah.
that's gonna stick in the song. It's kind of just to get like what key we're singing in or something like that, and then we kind of mainly just work on the lyrics, trying to tell like a story. I don't know, I really like storytelling like through lyrics. I feel like it's really cool.
yeah,
And like a lot of the people we listen to, they tell like, you can see like it's like a story the whole way through a song. So we kind of focus on that and like try and make it as creative as we can be. But most of like the songs we've written that we absolutely love came out of like half an hour or something. Like if you
Yeah.
try too hard, like I remember once we're like, we're gonna need to write a single. This needs to be our song. That's gonna be our single. And like,
And I think while we were doing that, I started coming up with like something on the guitar or like a
Yeah.
line, and you didn't want to write it for so long.
yeah, 'cause it's like, no, we got to focus on.
We
this
need to
single.
focus on this, and then the song that song that like I started doing on the guitar and like you didn't want to write, and it took us ages to kind of
Actually
do it. That's like gonna be our single. So like it's just
Yeah.
kind of like the songs
You
that
don't
you
put
don't.
too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of like it doesn't. I mean, you got to like have an idea that you want to make it a good song, but like
have like a story kind of thing, but like also like things that just come out of just like writing. Like,
yeah, because I guess it's
yeah, because you don't want to overfill the song or put too little in the song. You want to have that right amount.
Yeah.
Like keep that vibe going, keep the creation there, but keep it fun and funky and everything else. So,
yeah.
yeah.
How do you, so like speaking of songwriters who tell stories, have you guys ever heard of Nick Cave, the Australian icon?
Oh, isn't he
Yeah.
Chet Faker?
No, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. No,
Nick-
Chet Faker is someone completely different.
Yeah. Okay.
Nick Cave is
Pull him up.
pull him up. Pull up
Yeah.
Nick Cave, man. Like Nick Cave, all his songs tell stories. He has
Yeah.
one amazing album called Murder Ballads, and
okay.
it's like there's one. He
I
wrote
don't
this one
Spotify.
song. It was this 18. I think it was like
Spotify.
18 minutes,
Yeah.
10-minute, 18-minute song about a guy just going to a pub and just killing everyone there. And he wrote it, and he was like, "Oh shit, I can't put this. I don't have any other songs that even match this."
How do you spell
So he was
Nick?
like,
Is it N-I-K? or-
N-I-C-K.
But see, that's a similar thing with Cold Chisel though.
No,
with
Cave
Standing on the
and
Outside.
the Bad Seeds.
Do you guys know that song? Standing on the Outside Looking In by Cold Chisel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that song, but it's about the Port Arthur murders.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Because in Standing on the Outside Looking In, yeah. And then gonna go in and I can't remember what the lyrics exactly are. It was like gonna go in and gun them all down or something
Yeah.
like that.
So you
I
want
played
to
it
go down
often
the albums
enough,
for
but
it? Oh, Skeleton Tree is a phenomenal album. Sadly his son took bad LSD and accidentally fell off a cliff. And he wrote that song Skeleton Tree, and it was immediately after that, and it was all about his emotions going through that.
But see, that's
Such
what
a
I
powerful
admire
album.
about music these days,
Yeah.
and don't admire
Keep
about
going.
music these days. Because like you have to admit, with the hip hop, how everything's changing. It's becoming so
Dude, this
basic.
guy has a lot of music.
This guy's been in the bad game since like the 80s, man. And he's insane. He releases he's just worked so hard at his music. It's phenomenal.
See, like what I
Keep going.
was saying before though is
There it is, Murder Ballads. And it's O'Malley's Bar, which is 15-minute song.
Wow.
But it's a story. All those songs are stories. The Curse of Millhaven is
And that's
about
the
a
way
little
music
girl,
should be.
like just doing wreaking havoc and just killing people. It's all about murder. And the Where the Wild Roses Grow actually had Kylie Minogue on it, and he won an ARIA award. And it's about him taking this woman down to the riverbed to steal the roses. And the third time he goes, "All beauty must end," and he kills her with a rock. And it's just
Wow.
brutal. It's brutal. But it's everything, and you listen to it, and you listen to it again and again, and you pick up each little thing about each song, because he's a master storyteller, and the fact that he can do it with music is such a fundamentally amazing thing. Is that is that what you guys
Yeah.
really admire about storytellers in music, that they can craft a song.
Because that's what I was going to say before about hip hop and everything else. It's like everybody's going astray from what music should be. Where it should be storytelling. It should be like actually putting emotions and feelings and what you've experienced through your life into music. And actually, like, you know, you should spread the word about your story, or like, you know, just inform others and make it work, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I feel like
I also
music can be whatever you want it to be, but like most like artists that like we listen to and like that I admire do tell like stories.
And like I think with like writing a song, like it can mean something to you, but as soon as you write it and as soon as you play it and you put it out there, it means like people relate to it. It means something different to them,
Exactly.
which I think is also really cool, that you can like write something and then it can also like have an effect on somebody else, and it could be completely different to how you wrote it or how like, but it like means something to them, which I think is cool. Like I really like that.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying before. It's like it's getting sillier and silly and more silly, where it's just like
It's all about aesthetics now and visuals.
yeah, it's about, you know, girls, cars, money, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's what everything's kind
that's
of going.
the rap and hip hop scene's always been like that.
Yeah. Well, no,
It's always been about that.
to an extent though. Like, you know, with Biggie and Tupac in the 90s and everything, it was more about wholesomeness kind of thing. Like
More about gunning people down.
No,
Some
but
starting like pregnant women. There's literally a line like Biggie Smalls that's selling crack for pregnant women.
Is there actually?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well,
I
some
think-
songs.
I think it's that
So I
side
know
of
exactly what you're
that
saying.
side of hip hop and rap has come up because the genre itself came out from
The
burbs.
slums.
It
It
came
came
from
from
the
the
slums.
slums.
Yeah,
That's
It was
exactly
real. It was real, actually. I think that's what you're trying to say.
yeah, it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that fits.
topics that were discussed within hip hop and rap were real,
Yeah.
And you could say it
and
is
now
wholesome.
they're fabricated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you could
exactly.
say that is
They're
wholesome
fabricated stories.
because it's like a whole story. It's like it may not be glamorous, but it is a life that people
But
live.
does music need to be based on personal experience?
Definitely not.
Well,
I don't
I
think.
hope
I
Murder
think
Ballads
people
isn't.
create like as a musician, you're like obviously creative, but like you can like create a story that could be nothing about you personally. And I think like with songwriting, if you wrote everything about you and your life, like it's obviously like a song's gonna have a part of you, but like I think it like also gives you a chance to like expand your creativity and
Yeah.
wite about like other things.
Yeah,
and
you
A
stuff.
lot of
Imagination.
artists write
Yeah.
about topics as well that aren't related to
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
So you've got artists like Cake, who
Yeah, no,
I'm just
yeah.
bringing up Cake,
No,
but the artist is called Cake. They're not really folky or anything. They're more I don't know, alternative
Electro?
rock.
Dance?
No, they're not
Like
dancing.
pop
dance.
shit kind of stuff. Or?
No, they're alternative rock,
Yeah, okay.
almost like punky-esque. Anyway, they talk about like commercialism and religion and like things that aren't necessarily personally related to themselves, but they make their art is about making a statement about the way
Yeah.
society is.
No, I like that, and like a lot of people, like artists, are doing that, and like a lot. Like I know Missy Higgins, she wrote a song about climate change, like trying to spread. I feel like music is
awareness.
something, like to spread awareness or topics you're like not like interested in, but you want to also like make a change. And I feel like that's the also like beauty of music, is you can do
Do
whatever
you
you want.
think that music as a whole, or just art in general, so any form of art,
Just quickly, do you guys want some more of this at all?
No, I'm
No,
good, thank you.
Yeah.
any form of art has to make a statement? Because I mean,
I feel
for
it
example,
does.
right, different genre, not quite music, but you get paintings that literally are just like a yellow line
Yeah.
straight down the painting. There's obviously no statement
Your
there.
datas and-
As much as the artist would like to point out there's some sort of statement.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
isn't that the problem with datas and surrealism and that it's postmodernism in general that almost is a mockery of that? Isn't that what postmodernism actually is? It's a mockery of
Not
the idea that
quite.
everything has meaning. No.
Not quite, no.
No. Sorry. I apologize. Can I do something? Well, I guess, but I do think that there are people out there who do mock the sincerity of, who do mock sincerity, and they do it for a veneer of irony, I think. And I think that is a completely legitimate art form.
But I mean, if we go back to, you guys are in a band, and me and Alex here are DJs, so we listen to obviously a lot of electronic music. And I would say a fair whack of electronic music, 60-70% of it, there is no story, there's no narrative,
It's just
it's
instrumentals, basically.
literally just music.
Yeah.
And
Well,
some people still derive meaning from that in
Yeah.
some ways,
Yeah.
rarely, but can EDM be elevated by adding some sort of narrative story to it? Do you think?
I don't know. I think like dance music and stuff is dance music because it is dance
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
and like people who listen to that, like if it's at a nightclub or something, like they go there. They're not like going there to be like, oh, what did they just like? Is there a lyric in there? What does that mean? Like kind of like
Yeah,
get a
find
meaning from it.
that
Like
unique
it's
meaning,
dance
yeah.
music because it's dance music and for
Exactly.
people to
Meant to-
enjoy,
yeah.
and like it's meant for that. And I think like I don't think all music needs to have
No.
a story or like.
No, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. Because it's things like, I guess, like Billy Idol, White Wedding. It's like, that's a dance song. But it's got that kind of meaning behind it. But at the same time, like, what is the story kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's a white wedding. It can be about anything.
It could be, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It could be about people falling in love or people falling out of love. It could be
yeah.
about anything.
Well, exactly. It's all, it comes down to how do you, what's the word?
How you perceive it?
How you perceive
Yeah,
it, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like that's with anything really. Like, I don't think a lot of music needs to have like a narrative from like the start to the end. I think it should, in some way, to the listener, tell a story
It's
or like
also
make them.
interesting when it does, and if you want to
Yeah.
like actually like delve into that song.
And I feel like most songs kind of do in a way, but it's not kind of so like put out there like this is like the story. It's kind of more an underlying meaning or something.
What
like
about
that.
like classical music? You know what I mean? Like outside
Yeah.
outside of certain classical pieces, none of them have lyrics.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Shop,
But there is kind of like
there is
a
a
story behind it.
There is
yeah.
but they're telling the story through
the
musicality.
music, and I love
Yeah.
that. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because isn't it like Beethoven was blind and deaf,
No, but-
deaf or something? Or
He was deaf
He was deaf.
at the end, yeah.
Yeah, at
And
the
then
end he was deaf.
and no, he was. I can't remember. He was deaf, yes. And yes, I believe it was when he wrote. Can you pull that up, Mitchell? If he
Symphony or
wrote
something.
"Ode to Joy" when he was deaf, one of his most famous pieces.
Because in that's very interesting. So writing music when you're deaf, like you really know how to.
You have to
You have to know how to
visualize.
write the music and exactly
Yeah.
visualize what your. Because how would you
Yeah.
even know what the end product's gonna sound like?
Yeah.
You can't. You
Yeah.
physically can't.
Yeah, you just look at the notes on the paper and be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he was already deaf when he wrote it.
Oh,
Wow.
he's already dead.
My
Deaf.
God. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's ode to joy does have meaning. I believe. Was Beethoven? If you look up, I think it was. I'm pretty sure he was a Christian. I think "Ode to Joy" was like designed to be a Christian hymn. Well, actually, there was I forgot his name, but there was a classical composer who wrote all his music for the children in his orphanage, because he was a priest in an orphanage, for them to play.
Really?
I wouldn't say any of that had
Yeah.
meaning.
The
Four
song
Seasons.
"Ode to Joy" was based on the poem "Ode to Joy."
Yeah, which is about exactly. But that's what it is. He's trying to convey the meaning of a poem through
Oh
the
God, I
true
don't want to read that.
musicality.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. We'll just read this little bit here.
Yeah, exactly. So he had to try and compose that meaning entirely through music, and doing it deaf as well. Doing it when he was deaf.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
Amazing.
so I guess it does kind of answer our question: does it need to tell a story, or can a song, which is what classical music is all about, can it
It's-
purely convey images via?
But see, that just
Yeah.
goes back to like putting emotions and feelings into writing
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, if you're in an angry mood, well then you're gonna write angry music.
Mm.
If you're stressed out and tired and confused or whatever, then you're gonna sit down, you're gonna make music around how you're feeling. Right?
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
that's how a
Yeah.
lot of songs come from. Is the way you're feeling. That
Yeah,
way.
like the vibe, the atmosphere that you're in, what's going on in your life, what's happening, like.
Has there ever been a moment in your yeah, exactly. And the question is, has there ever been a moment in your life where you've just sat down and I need to write this. I need to write this song based on what I'm going through
Yeah,
right
do
now.
you guys find it a stress reliever in a way at all to sit
I feel
down
like-
and
I feel like
when we write a good song, it's kind of like it was always in our set. It was
but
never.
like also the
It's always in
thing.
you.
Yeah, like and once you have it, it's like like it wasn't even an effort to write.
But like I find some of the stuff we write, and like we don't really know like when we're
Oh,
writing the
yeah.
lyrics like what they essentially like mean. But then like after it's written, we like analyze it and like we're like that's exactly how I was feeling and I didn't even know it. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
weird. It's like really strange.
do you come back to it like a day later or 2 days later and go, wow, like, you know, maybe if I did this or did change this or anything like that to try and structure it better or anything?
like-
Or?
I feel like
Because like when you guys go to create a song, does it take you like 3 days, a week to try and put it together or anything?
the best songs we've written has been in like half an
half an hour.
So then
Maybe like an hour, but like,
And then like
That's
the
pretty
next
awesome.
day, like reworking, like
rework
working on
it.
the harmonies and like working how we're kind of gonna
Yeah.
like do
How's that half hour go? Is it just you guys sitting down and going, oh, like just, yeah, oh, I got
kind
this.
of just
keep
I don't
going.
know. Usually play like something on the guitar, and we kind of just like
What-
sing whatever we want to.
And just kind of falls apart. It kind of just comes together like a puzzle
I think
piece.
it's just like writing a song, and when it's in its early stages, has got to be like my favorite part because
Yeah.
it's so like raw and like you can like it's funny going back and looking at lyrics or looking at your old like
because you had so
notes
many other
and stuff.
lines, but the one that made it in is
Yeah,
just like
and it's just I love the early days of a song. Like people say that they love it when like people are like in the crowd singing to your like music or like they know the words, which like I think is really cool. But I love my favorite
I've
part.
never loved a song more than when we
First write it.
and like the feeling of like finally completing it and going, wow, like
Yeah.
we just wrote that, and then
So
it's
it's very exciting. It's a very exciting
Yeah.
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you ever just come to each other with like the ideas in your head and just being like, oh my god, I have this amazing idea,
Yeah.
and then just like just telling someone else and being like, oh, I think I can work with that. Does that
Yeah.
happen a lot?
the
Is
man
Yeah.
always tells me these great ideas, and I'm like, we are writing a song about that, like.
that-
yeah.
Because isn't that how Paul McCartney came up with the melody? He was like in his dream and he woke up and he said he fell out of bed. It was yesterday, the melody for yesterday.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he woke up and he fell out of bed. He was like, God, I gotta write this. I gotta write this now. Do you ever have moments like that where you just like, oh my, just like something just dawns and you're like,
Yeah, like a
I
burst
need
of
it.
a burst of creation.
Just hits you like a lightning bolt. You're like, I need a guitar. Or
I always like write, like have a lyric in my head or an idea, and like sometimes it's like funny because I'll like think about it and I'll be like, oh, this is a stupid idea for a song. Like, why would I even think about that? And then like the next day I'll be like, I knew I had a really good idea for a song. Like, so sometimes when ideas come to like you kind of like don't think they're that good, but then like when you actually try and sit down and write a song, like you kind of wish that you had that idea.
Yeah.
So I tend to like write stuff down on my phone or whatever, and like an idea or a lyric, and like kind of like have that there just to kind of go back to.
See, that's happened to me many times because I've tried producing because I've been DJing for 9 years. I've tried producing since I was 16, but I just can't get around how the structure of it, like, you know, throw the bass beat together with the drums and everything else to be able to make it. But then there's been times when I've just woken up, I've had lyrics in my head or just thought of something or whatever, and I haven't written it down, and then half an hour later, I've forgotten about it. And I'm just sitting there like, I wish I knew
Yeah.
what I was thinking, like what I just thought about kind of thing.
Yeah.
Instead of letting it just go kind of thing.
And sometimes we've like just been like jamming or whatever, and like in like the early days of writing a song, and like it'll be me playing the guitar and just kind of coming up with the lyrics or something, like, and we like sing like, or you sing like a whole verse, and then like it'll go back to like, what was that? That was awesome.
Yeah.
And like then trying to
Yeah.
remember that. So we kind of regret like not turning on voice memos or not like kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you try and recreate it, and it's just not the same.
so ethereal, isn't it?
Do you guys record demos though? Like, do you use the recorder on your phone or anything like that? Or how do
We
you...
used to a lot. Like, we kind of like just put it on record when we were trying to write something.
We found ourselves never going back
Not listening to it at all.
at all. So
Yeah.
I think when we, when we kind of write a song, we kind of like finish it and then play it a lot, so we kind of know what it is. Like I feel like even some of our songs now, they're not even written down. The chords aren't written down. There's no record of them.
You just know how to play it from memory.
Yeah,
and
which
stuff.
is
That's
kind of
pretty cool,
weird.
though.
And our
Yeah.
mum always says like, you need to write these down. You need to write the lyrics. You need to write the
Yeah.
chords. Like, and it's like, but like, you know, we know them.
Yeah.
Like,
And even some of the like the early days songs that we used to play like at gigs, I don't even remember how to play them anymore because we don't play them in our set. And I mean, like, now I don't really love them. But
Yeah, you're kind of like,
You like move on.
give yourself
Yeah.
a lobotomy, trying to forget them.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
So how many songs have you guys written then overall? Because I mean, I know we were just talking about like you guys could do like a 45-minute hour set and stuff like that, but like, do you do
I feel like
I don't-
covers and stuff?
we
or-
don't do a lot of covers.
No, we have done a few, but it's not really like, I don't know. We write a lot, so we
Yeah.
kind of like playing.
It's better doing that though, like
Yeah.
more originals than covers. And
I don't actually know if we could have an actual number of how many.
Maybe
songs.
like.
But like, are
20?
you talking like our old? Yeah, because we probably had like a 10-song set before.
Yeah.
How long have you
yeah.
guys been playing as a duo together?
9, 10 months.
Our first gig was October.
So not even a year yet, and you guys already have like 20 originals.
But
Yeah.
10 of them we don't like. So really only
Still,
like
to have 10
10.
Yeah,
after...
that's impressive.
That's an
It's
album.
very impressive.
Yeah.
That's an album in 9 months. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like some people take years. Some,
Yeah.
Like I can't remember who it was. Benjamin was telling me this. You know him as well. Well, like it's someone that's big, but it's taken like 5-10 years, and not Iggy Pop or something.
Oh,
But like someone.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
You
like,
know, I know what you mean. Like, yeah, guys like Iggy or
Yeah, they
even
just take
Bowie.
years.
Even Nick
and years.
Cave. Nick
Yeah,
Cave was spent a
Nick
couple
Cave
of
as
years.
well.
I think Tool was like, Tool was in like. you know,
Wait,
this is
Tool or-
Tool, the band. Tool.
Yeah.
I think they spent like 7 years working on this latest
Wow.
piece.
Yeah.
I think some bands can really just go, no, we gotta perfect this. I think
Yeah.
then again, perfection's the enemy of good. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you can like pick at something for so long and like you could
And you
like
just end up hating it because
Yeah.
you just try and
Yeah.
find everything that you don't like about it.
It's also that, but like if you spend 7 years on
Yeah.
a track and you release it to the public and it doesn't get a very good reception,
just
Yeah,
gonna be like,
you-
that's fine.
that's a waste of time, man. It's a waste of 7 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should always, when you start a project, you should always finish it. And
Let it
but
germinate.
you don't spend too much time on it either.
Exactly.
Wow, and I'm
Because
gonna
you
tell
could spend
Tool-
forever on a piece, and when it gets released, like nobody else understands it like
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, exactly.
No one else has put that blood, sweat, tears. All they hear is that 3-4 minute song, and they're like, "Yeah, it's not very good."
And I think that's funny about songs is like you hear them like if you write them like from when they were just like one line or like one verse and like how they've changed and then like you go show them to someone else and that is the first time they're hearing everything and I just find that so bizarre
yeah,
to
like
even
sometimes
think
you
about.
would wish that like you could hear that song put together for the first time and see how it kind of like impacts you.
like you like as
Yeah.
if you didn't write it and you heard it for the first time you're like you wonder what people would but I guess you never know because you wrote it from like, the ground up.
So like when you listen to the Beatles demos and you hear like certain songs that you know and love and you've been listening to them for 10 years and they're completely different, like they're way faster and in a completely different genre and you go, holy shit, how were they piecing this together? Were they just trying
Exactly.
everything?
Yeah.
And it really is interesting seeing the other side being like, well, they were really experimenting on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So is there any
What other topics did we like? Where's your little notepad that we were writing in before? We're still very new to this. This is only our 5th, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
I'll say it's our
Sixth?
second official one.
This is
Yeah,
our second
second
official
official,
one,
yeah.
but it
Oh.
would be our 6th.
Yeah, 6th
Oh,
one
cool.
official.
Yeah.
We did 3 hours complete improv.
Yeah.
Hammered. Didn't turn out great.
Some were a bit
Just
rocky,
a little
others
bit,
were
yeah.
okay,
Yeah, the first couple ones were very interesting.
They're great.
The
I
very
love 'em.
first one was very interesting as well.
Yeah, that was a very interesting one.
Because what ended up happening was the mics all rocked up on the same day, and when they rocked up, I thought, well, okay, invited Mitch over, invited Damo over, and then we just thought, let's just give it a go.
And then we had like 6 people in here by the end of the night.
Yeah, and it was just horrible.
And
because-
everyone was drunk and everyone was like basically screaming. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was so fun.
Well,
I loved it.
I got him that drunk that he was actually singing Wonderwall into the microphone like this.
Yeah.
Oh
like-
wow.
It was so
Actually, it was
bad.
Stand By Me
Yeah, no, and Wonderwall.
and Wonderwall.
And then we got flagged because the.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks. We're reading the comments. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Hey,
Cheers, Steve.
Damien talking.
Jay, love you, Steve. Good man. Shout out to Mr. Staple.
We have 2 comments so far, so this is great.
Yeah. Damien talking about the bird.
But
Oh,
we'll
it's a
pick it up though. I mean,
All right, let's get back on topic.
Get back
shall
on
we?
Yeah,
topic.
let's
Hey man, you gotta give a shout out to your fans every now and again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Alright, that's
Right,
enough.
So the other topics.
So basically, like growing up in Warrpole, like how does that like did that influence you at all? Like being in that small country town, very insular. Is it kind of
We write a lot of songs about Warpole.
Yeah, to be honest, like in our bio, we've even written that like we kind of take bits from Warpole and kind of write about it, and like we write a lot about like the whole small town thing, and it's where we grew up. It's like all we ever knew when we were younger, and like coming to the city and it being so busy, and like it's like it gets overwhelming, and like even living up here now, we like notice that like it just gets really overwhelming and busy, and like the
Yeah. You
lifestyle
You
is
kinda get,
so
like even with music, you kind of get a bit stressed of like all the stuff you have to do and like
Exactly, yeah.
deadlines and stuff like
And
that. But then I guess
it's
we
just nice being able to have a place where you can go back and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
chill. And that's what I love about like growing up there and
And
kind
have
of
your
being able
roots
to
there.
go back.
Yeah.
And
See,
it's
that's the
awesome.
same thing with me in Bustleton. Like whenever I go down there, it's just a holiday.
Yeah.
It's always just a holiday away from home, basically.
And when you're walking down the street, you're like, oh, I haven't seen that guy in like 5 years.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. I know everyone down there.
No, exactly. And like
Yeah.
the small town thing, it's such a community. Like
Yeah.
when we first, like everyone in Walpole knew who we were. We worked at the IGA there. Like people just knew us. And then when we moved to Perth, it was kind of weird, like going to a shopping centre and not getting stopped by people.
For like an hour.
Like being
Yeah.
like, oh, what are you up to? Like
Yeah.
it's just like you go to the shops, you get your food, and you get out of there. Try and talk to as like
And like,
least
it's
amount of
actually
people.
funny because like a shopping centre up here is just like there's so many people in it, but like
Nobody talks
when
to
you
each
go
other.
to it,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of like you're the only one there. Like,
Whereas
it's really
like
strange.
IGA in
What's the
Walpole is like
gossip
the
spot?
meeting place for
Yeah.
the whole town.
And
We
like-
said Walpole and off to the races.
But yeah. So yeah.
Everyone I talk to who comes from a small, town, I'm obviously a Perth boy, but I still call Kalamunda home. It's not exactly the country.
Yeah.
it's quite
like-
country.
It's
vibes.
straddling the line between a country town
Yeah.
and this,
Yeah.
a city
Yeah.
town. It's on the border of like where you would consider the end of the metro area.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but everyone I talk to who's come from like Margaret River or Northam or Augusta or anything like that, when you start talking about that place, they'll just go on and on and on forever.
Yeah, I could talk about Walpole
Yeah.
for like the whole
Sorry.
night. So.
Stop me.
Well,
No.
sorry, 'cause I got like.
So yes,
straight out
Walpole
of
was a
five.
big influence on your music then.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Huge.
Oh shit, I got like 5 questions all about Walpole then. No, I actually do, but
Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
let's do it. Yeah, let's see how-
We've still got an hour and 10 minutes left to go.
We're doing.
We're not doing too bad.
Doing pretty good.
I told
We're
you.
blasting through, yeah.
Yeah, he was nervous. He was like, "Oh, do we have enough topics? Are we gonna be able to get through
Oh,
this?"
I was
Don't
like,
worry.
It'll be
Much as I
fine.
can.
I
Just
talk a
mention
lot.
Walpole and
Yeah,
we'll
I can talk for a while.
Oh, beautiful. Awesome. I was gonna say, like, how's that environment influenced your mindset? Like, because you were talking in the group chat when you mentioned artists, a lot of them are all Perth based. Like, is growing up in that country town, has that at all influenced your musical appreciation? Where you go, I really like this guy down the street in the bar. I've talked to him. I want to support that guy, and you kind of have a bit more of a kinship than you would, let's say, a band from Melbourne.
Yeah, I think the whole community thing and like especially the Perth scene, like you go to a gig and you'll see someone there that you like listen to their music, and I think it's just like being a fan of somebody and being able to kind of like see them and talk to them
Yeah.
kind of makes it way more on like a community kind of level and
And
just
way more like a reachable goal to be at their level, I guess. Because like they started like where you started a year ago.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
So
yeah.
it's kind of amazing to just like look up to local Perth musicians. and-
where you like could be not far off, like you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like so it's kind of setting yourself a goal that's not like so far away,
yeah.
in a sense, but
And like
also
the Perth scene is amazing.
Yeah.
There's
It's
so
interesting too because
many-
Perth is quite an isolated city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Geographically from anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's quite unique, I think,
Yeah.
culturally in the music scene, because it's sort of like insulated from being influenced
Yeah.
by other places.
So see, that's where my opinion of like if you can make
Also,
it.
just quickly, thank you, David. We appreciate your nice
Oh yeah,
comments.
cheers, Dave. We'll
Thanks,
get you
David.
back on eventually.
Yeah. One of our previous guests.
Yeah, he was a good guest to have on.
He was a great guest.
But like what I was saying before, I feel like if you can make a name for yourself in Perth in today's day and age, I reckon in 10 years, 5
Oh, you're
years,
good.
because like we just got Elizabeth Key in the last 10 years kind of thing, and we're becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. But you
Yeah.
go to Melbourne and it's already established.
Yeah, it's
You
massive.
go to Dubai, and Dubai is a bloody city in the middle of the desert. It's
Yeah.
like advanced and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
With Perth, since we're so isolated and away from everything, if we can like get our name into the industry you want to get into, then hopefully in 10 years, solidify. You push and push and push, and you should be able to establish like a decent kind of base.
Well, I
right
think
here.
Yeah.
because we are so isolated from the rest of the world, it's basically is a giant country town. Really, it's not even
Yeah.
like a city.
Exactly, yeah.
Because there is a point. Like, you guys are very new here, but when you walk around, there is a point in time you'd be like, "Holy shit! I know most of the people here." You go to the gigs. You go to like a gig, and you're like, "Fuck, I know everyone here."
Yeah.
See, that's what happens to me now. If I go to Capital, I've been going to Capital and Amplify for the last 3 years, I'd say, almost every Saturday. And so now every time I go there, I know almost everybody there. That's like what I was saying before, where I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like a staff member there.
I think it's also important to remember, and I've said this lots of times on the stream already, but Perth is not small.
Yeah,
Like
but
in terms of a world perspective.
No.
Perth itself is actually quite large. It's large. There's only 3 cities in the US that are bigger than Perth.
Oh, geographically, absolutely. But the thing is, you also got to think about
Just
how
population, like
No, we're fucked.
population
No,
density.
Like, no, Dallas and Texas, dude. Texas is like
Dallas
California-
is one of them that's bigger.
No, but California is a whole 60 million.
New
bro.
York and Miami.
Yeah.
They're the 3 that are bigger than
Yeah.
Perth
But
in terms of population
those,
size.
But those are just
population
cities.
density.
When you say Perth, it's literally. You also
Yeah,
got to think about the
it's-
geography of Perth.
Perth
We're-
is huge.
We are.
It's Coburn,
I drove
it's Joondalup.
here to
Yeah,
Northern
that's what I mean.
Territory.
Perth is huge.
No, but I drove.
But, like-
here from Northern
And
Territory.
everybody likes to talk about Perth. Everyone likes to talk about Perth as some it's such a small place.
It is.
It's not though.
It is.
It's really not.
The second
What
you
is
drive-
small is whatever scene you're talking about.
No, I mean like you drive an
So if
hour.
you're talking about the music scene in Perth, it's small.
All
No,
right,
I
so
mean you
think
drive
it's-
40 minutes out.
And that's
of
what I'm
Perth,
saying.
You hit desert, man. That's
Huh?
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Great Eastern Highway. You drive for an hour, you're like, holy fuck, I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair
no,
enough.
That's true.
That's
yeah,
fair
I
enough.
get what you're saying.
No, I mean like the second.
The population is more spread out in the US, but in terms of
Yeah,
population
absolutely.
density, Perth is actually a rather large city.
So on the new rule board that I'm going to put up, no talking about geography and no talking about politics.
Yeah, we talk about Perth in the conversation.
No.
It's just I've written.
That's it.
No,
It's like
I don't
Walpole.
agree with it.
I just want to humble brag for a minute. I've written several papers on,
really?
on
I'll
this.
7 papers. huh?
Really?
Yeah.
Because
Do you
the
have them
thing
on
is,
your laptop? Will
here's
you
the
pull them
thing.
up?
I do actually, and no, I don't want to pull them up.
no, here's the thing. You guys gotta look at like a European town, man. You gotta look at like where my family's from, like Lanciano or something, and it's like 20,000 people, and it's literally like the density of the middle of New York. It's a tiny country town, but because the roads weren't built for cars, everything is townhouses. It's like a circle, and everything's in this one area. It's like a kilometer. And it's filled with 20,000 people.
Bullshit.
That's density. Curve is not density. Man.
Okay, this is something we're going to look at
Alright.
after the
After,
podcast.
yes, alright, yeah.
This is something you get into.
Let's get back on the topic.
Okay, so let's
Okay, next
got
point.
you.
Like I said, it's going on the rule board.
Alright, so did you
Come on, Daniel, get your shit together.
I'm sorry, I've got so much pressure now. Did you grow up in a music? So did you guys grow up, like? How did you guys discover your taste in music, especially in something isolated like Walpole? Did you guys grow up in a musical household?
Yeah.
Did your parents have a CD collection? Like,
Because that's what I was saying before as well.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
when
like-
I was sitting in the backseat of my parents' car choosing CDs, I only had Tina Turner, Supertramp, David Bowie, Queen, that kind of stuff to choose from.
Yeah.
But then when I moved out of my parents' home, or when I first got my first laptop, then I started diving in like YouTubing and trying to find electronic music, got into the DJ industry, and then just try to open my music knowledge to absolutely anything. Like what happened for you guys kind of?
Yeah, when we were kids, our mum had like the Missy Higgins Sound of White album, which is her first album.
Yeah.
Amazing album. And we just kind of like, because driving in like down south.
To go anywhere, like to go to Denmark,
It's like
an
an
hour.
hour.
To
Yeah,
go
how
to
far-
Albany,
Yeah,
it's
how
like
far was Albany?
it's an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and that's like the main kind of like, it's not really a city, but like it's kind of like where all the like big
Yeah, shopping centres and
Exactly,
stuff.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
so mostly like driving is talking time. Like, because you
Yeah.
spend so much time driving, like it's kind of like a place where you're all in a car together, and that's kind of like conversation. So like when it came to like putting on music, like the Missy Higgins album was kind of like one of the
only CDs Mum
had it in her car.
So we just kind of like, if it was just time to put on music, we'd put on that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
And like to this day, I still love it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, yeah, that's like one of my favorite albums. Yeah.
Which album was it? Can we pull that up? On
The
Google?
Sound of White by Missy Higgins.
Yeah. Because I've heard of Missy Higgins forever, but I've never really looked into it
She's amazing.
And like the other artists you sent in the group chat as well, what were they?
The Waves.
The Waves. Yeah, I've never heard of them either.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
and you guys are kind of related to them. You're like,
yes.
They're from Albany, and our
Mums cousin is
You
their
said that in unison. That's a very twin
aunt.
thing.
Yeah, somehow distant relation.
We've never met them.
We've never met them.
Do you know
But
what album it
hello,
was?
the
Sound
Waves,
That
if you're
one there,
listening.
go back up.
Yeah,
one.
that
Yeah, that
The
one.
Sound of White.
See if you can pull up the album cover. Click on it.
Oh god, this could be dangerous.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
a slightly bigger view. I can bring it up on.
Yeah, Google. Yeah. Try and when did it come out? Did it say 2003?
2003, yeah.
The Sound
so
of
long
White?
ago now.
Yeah.
16 years.
Missy Higgins
That's 2003.
album.
I thought you said like that was two. I thought you said like 16 years ago. I thought you said 2009. No, I thought you said 2006. I was like, no, that's 13 years ago.
No.
And then I was like, oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
She was only like, I remember she won
Triple J
Triple
on
J on
Earth.
Earth
Back
for
when it was like
her
actually
first
like
song on that album
All for
when she was
Believing.
16.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
back when Triple J on Earth was like not just like a thing where you put music up, which
Yeah.
is great now, and there's so many competitions.
Yeah.
It was back when Triple J on Earth was like a competition,
We
and
had to mail your CD.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure her sister mailed it in.
yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
She won it.
But well, imagine if like his sister didn't mail that in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you guys go to sing and stuff, like, do you guys, because like we just said with the unison thing, do you guys sing together sometimes, or like?
Yeah,
like, at the
A
same-
lot of harmony
A
stuff.
lot of harmonies and even yeah. Yes, someone sent that to me.
And like we
actually.
went to it, yeah,
Rick said, like, that sounds like the same person.
yeah,
We kind of do it to add
effect.
effect. So if like
Yeah.
one of us is singing lead in the song, like if Mad was singing, I'd like add, like sing the same thing as her, but like
A bit deeper kind of thing, maybe, or?
We went to
Yeah.
a gig and like this guy came up to us and was like, I can't even work out your harmonies, and we were like, it's probably because like we don't really sit at a keyboard and be like, okay, so I'm singing this, you need to sing the third above. Like it's all just kind of like
Based
maybe it's a
on-
twin thing,
It's off the cuff.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of like whatever happens and whatever
Yeah.
sounds good, and like I don't know. So I kind of think my voice has like a higher voicing and yours has like a
Yeah.
lower voicing.
So when we sing in unison,
it's kind of like full.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never really tried to work it out.
That's
Sorry,
pretty
we.
cool, though.
I don't know.
Leave and just have them like talk. And like,
It'll eventually meld into one conversation.
But yeah,
So what's the word? Duplicity? Is that what the word is? Like when like twins like start mashing ideas together and stuff.
yeah. Mad will just say like one thing.
And I'll
and
know exactly what
know
you're talking
exactly
about.
what
It's
she's
just-
talking about.
So the proper unity then.
Yeah,
So
yeah, so I got a few more. No, right, man. I'm just waiting for my. Hey, man.
yeah, hey man, hey man.
God damn it, I don't like having this.
You don't like? having
No, I
that?
like it, but it's like.
Well,
it's
next
like-
time we'll.
I got a few
No.
questions as well.
No, it's not even that. It's just like you're waiting for your time and like, oh. Alright,
for a speech.
yeah. So the country towns seem to
Speaking
be.
to it a bit.
Alright, so the country towns, especially because I just came back from I was driving on the Great Eastern
his
Highway.
trip, yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about that trip.
Great Eastern Highway, country.
Country. No, I was
Yeah,
like, I
you
was
can mention it.
2 hours from Northern Territory.
Northern Territory.
wow.
Fucking awful.
No,
It was awesome. No, I mean it was like because then we had to come back. It was like probably a long story, but we drove 40 hours in like 3 days.
Yeah, he was gonna climb all the
Jesus.
route the week before you can't climb it anymore.
Oh.
Did you climb it?
What are you giving me that look
No,
for?
no, can we cut that out?
No, it's forever on the internet now.
Why?
Because you know that's like a bit controversial, right? Well, actually, it's not. I don't think it is. Because I know women aren't allowed to climb it. In fact, we were talking about this on the way there. We didn't get the chance to. No, we were 6 hours out from Uluru, Ayers Rock, and then something happened. We had to turn back.
I was more talking about the serial killer look you were giving the camera.
Yeah, sorry. No, I mean like.
Yeah, you looked really scared.
Yeah, we're talking about dangerous territory.
No. It's just a bit controversial. Well, it's actually because there is like controversy about climbing Uluru and stuff. But it's about
Well, we don't have to get into
No, I don't want to get it. No, but it's like the funny thing is that so I just got a bit scared. I was like, it might be a bit controversial, but I know that women aren't allowed around certain parts of Uluru actually because it's so spiritually to the men. But I don't know if male Aboriginals are allowed to climb it, and if that's actually a rite of passage. Can you Google that for me, man? Like, Like,
Yeah, Google that
Can you
quickly.
Google that?
We'll have a look and then we'll get back
yeah,
to the topic.
yeah, but like, yeah, and then okay, now I'm gonna why are you googling that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we were just talking about
We're
before.
talking about how country towns, when I was driving out there, there's a lot of like, a lot of them were trying to like invest in like these art galleries, and I was in Wilbur, and they actually had a really amazing art gallery there. I was walking around, and I actually met the guy there, because we were in the information booth, and he was like, yeah, I just came back from a year-long trip in China. I was bringing this art gallery all across there.
Wow.
Oh,
And I
yeah,
was
you were
going,
mentioning that,
and
yeah.
I was like, this is a town of like 500 people, and they're doing an art gallery tour around China. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So the climb closes for good for everybody on the 26th of October.
Okay, and what is it?
So that's officially you can't climb
Yeah,
it anymore.
climb it.
right?
And the Anagu people,
Are allowed to climb it?
no,
What?
they
They said no.
they believed that during the time when the world was being formed, the Uluru climb was a traditional route taken by Mala men. When they arrived at Uluru, women were prohibited from this climb.
That's what I was hearing about this.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. That's fascinating. There was almost like a rite of passage.
But yeah, when we just quickly though, when we did Google how big the bloody rock is, it's huge. Like
It's
I can imagine
It's 400
like,
meters, and it's all 400 meters up.
Yeah.
400 meters up.
400 meters
Wow.
like height.
Yeah. That's what
Yeah,
I mean.
that's
So
big.
I guess that could make a bit of sense because like the guys, the warriors and the tribe
They
and
had to
everything.
climb it. And that
That's
was
like
yeah.
2/3 of the height of like the Bankwest Tower in Perth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, man. And imagine climbing that.
Yeah.
But I think there was like a rite of passage for them, and it was sort of seen as women were not allowed in certain parts of it because this is a men's rite of passage. You know?
You were right. I did.
No. I'm good. Thank God we
It's
double
not.
checked
Yeah.
that. No.
Shall we get back onto the topic?
Yeah, we
Yep,
should.
back
I'm
onto
just.
this.
I don't
Enough
want to. I
talking
don't
about
want to be
Uluru.
anything controversial.
Yeah.
So when you like brought up like climbing Uluru, I'm like, no. It's like because of that context. That's why I wanted.
Well,
not because of anything else.
It's not controversial, so
It's
let's
not.
get
What
back.
question were we attempting?
It was
to
about how. Do you think that the country towns are investing? They seem to be investing way more into their culture and whatnot.
Definitely.
And do you think that it's just going to keep growing and growing? And because you guys, you're country gals, would you ever be, if it grew to a certain point, would you ever be willing to move out there and sort of even run those sort of festivals or anything like that? Or?
I definitely think later on, like, possibly, yeah. I think, like, music in small towns, definitely, like, it still could go further.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
100%. And, like, there's still room for, like, kind of... Like, because there's not really, like, I know in Walpole, there's definitely not a place that has live music every week on a certain night. Just
No.
because purely there's not really enough
People.
bands
Yeah.
and people that will go and pay and, like...
Yeah.
Like, even around Denmark and stuff, like, there's not, like, every night of the
regular-
week, like, a regular,
Yeah,
like...
maybe Albany.
Albany, they do kind of hold
But
some
even a
more-
lot of venues down there, they don't, like, in Perth, you're lucky enough to have, like, a PA, like, a sound person there to, like, mix you and stuff like that. Down south, you have to bring your
all
own
you,
PA,
exactly, yeah.
like, everything like that. So it's kind of hard for artists to go down there that don't do it often enough and don't have their PA or, like, even, yeah.
And so that's similar with Bustleton as well, because with Busso, there's not. You got the Friday night at the Esplanade Hotel, and that's really it. And like they'll have a DJ on and stuff like that, and maybe during summer they might have like an acoustic act earlier on, but that's it. There's even though it's kind of a big town, kind of, and you know part of Geograph Bay and stuff like that. The only place you can really find a good gig to go see or something would be the nights in Mug River, and that's
Yeah.
only because of the tourism.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why they can actually get away with booking, like, I'm pretty sure, like, San Cisco and stuff have played there and stuff.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like the nights in, because it's quite a big live venue. It's quite a, well.
Did you see that thing Club Humble did where they did the...
Yeah, down in Bunbury.
Well, they did a few different cities and towns.
Yeah.
And they sort of made a little tour out of it. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a nice idea.
No, it is, yeah, because that's the thing as well, because Bunbury, we can't really go into it too much, but Bunbury has always been, like, with the dubstep scene and everything like that, because after a while, with Exit nightclub, that ended up shutting its doors, and Fitzy's kind of took the reins from there. When it took the reins, then the dubstep kids started going to Perth and stuff like that, networked, and that's why Ferdinand and everybody else went down there with Humble and stuff, because you got a market for it, why not? Why not exploit the market and make money out of it?
Yeah. Well, I know the Southern River Band. They do big tours around in the country towns because they know that country people so grateful to have bands like that
Yeah,
coming
like the
in.
Blues
Yeah.
Fest in Nanup or something,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And they sold
Yeah.
out. Shout out to Rob's, but they went down to Esperance, and Rob and Bottrell like open for.
Oh yeah, Rubes.
Yeah, but that's sold
yeah.
out. That's
Yeah.
sold out in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a big cultural thing where they're just so desperate,
Yeah.
I think. To
What
be part
event
of
or like festival? Where would you, if you could play anywhere in Australia or WA kind of thing? Like in WA, where would you want to play? And then Australia, if you could play anywhere, where would you want to play? And then if you were to go worldwide, where would you want to play?
You can answer individually. You don't have to come up with a.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like your number one spot.
Like WA, I'd really love to play at like either Fairbridge or Nanup Festival.
Yeah.
Just because they're like really like they're all about kind of folky kind of
Exactly, yeah,
stuff,
they're
and
cool.
like Fairbridge is amazing. Like I personally have never been, but I've heard a lot about it.
Amazing atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
And just to be a part of that and be like an artist on the lineup would be insane. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What about you, Jess? The same thing or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the big mainstream one that they have? Is that Falls?
Yeah, for
Oh,
Stereo.
Foals.
Oh yeah, stuff like
Falls.
that would be
It's like a lot, like
That's
quite
pretty
big.
That's Mac
Yeah.
DeMarco playing there.
yeah. So we're quite a fair way off that, but
Wow, you never know.
Well, you never know. Exactly. 10 songs in 9 months.
You have to
know,
remember
yeah.
all of them as well.
Yeah, you can have 30 songs next year and then like 2 albums and then bam, off you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
The dream.
The dream.
Yeah,
That is
that's
the dream, man.
exactly
It really
it.
is.
Yeah.
But it looks glamorous, but from what I can imagine, it could be a very stressful life though. Like just like getting on a plane, going to a new city, and then going and playing that day, then getting back, like having 2 hours sleep, getting back
Yeah.
on another plane, flying somewhere else, and then playing again and doing this and doing that.
yeah.
Because like obviously with DJs, they just take a USB and then have to go and play in front of a whole
Yeah.
crowd, which is kind of easy.
That's but when a
But-
band, you have to. It's
Exactly,
physical.
yeah.
It's very physical.
To be honest, I would love to kind of be
Sure.
able to do that.
Yeah.
Like
just
to
go
me,
on the
that
road.
sounds so like 2 hours sleep. Yeah, I mean it's like a. But like if you're
I feel
doing
like it's all
something
the
you
way
love,
you manage
Yeah.
yourself as well. Like if you did the tour, I mean, if you're on someone else's tour, it's kind of out of your control. But like if you were doing your own, you'd kind of make sure.
have to put time for yourself.
Yeah, you wouldn't spread yourself too thin, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be
Yeah,
touring and like just going to people and like crowds that actually like
that's
buy
my
your
dream.
buy your
To
tickets
be able to
and,
play like at a show that's like sold out, and you know that there's gonna be like
People screaming your name.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like starting out and doing gigs now is like so fun, and like being able to like gig constantly. Like it's funny when you look at artists, they like release an album and then they release like, and then they go on tour for that album, and they don't play any gigs for like a year. But like at the moment, I find it awesome to be able to play gigs like
lots
every
of
weekend.
gigs and kind of just hone your craft.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you get good. That's where you get good.
Yeah.
Gigs.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
How do you
get
feel about the like when you know when like people make an album, like a band makes an album, and they go on the album launch tour, but they only play the album though? Like, do you reckon they should play like some artists should play like their hits and stuff, like what people would want to go see, kind of thing?
I think
Or
yes,
just-
but then at the same time, like if you put yourself in that perspective of like you just wrote like this whole new album that you were so proud of, and, then
And that
you
they
had
probably
audience.
wouldn't have like toured before because
Yeah.
like when you're like quite a
like,
high up artist, you don't
gig
play
a
new
lot.
songs.
So like you would want to gig as many off the album as you could.
Yeah.
while
And,
still
like,
incorporating
That's an easy
hits.
answer for sort of like medium to low key sort of like artists, especially in like the Perth scene, because you wouldn't have proud bangers that
No.
everybody wants to hear per se.
Yeah, but I feel like even if you were like huge, I mean, you like if they want to hear those like songs and stuff like that, that's cool and you should play them. But at the same time, like you've been playing those songs, like if you were like huge and been gigging and like been playing for years, you'd be playing those songs for years.
Yeah.
So like to play something new that like you've just written and you're so proud of, and to go to an audience that's kind of not wanting you to play those songs, I feel like that would be disappointing.
Very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking perspective.
Yeah.
I know Prince talked about that. He talked about how Purple Rain just came out, and he said he was doing a tour where he had to play that album, that full album, every show. And he said like halfway through I was screaming because I didn't have the creative control to go out there and be like, okay, I want to play this song and that song.
Yeah.
and see the crowd react to that.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just wanted to play what he
Exactly.
just thought would work kind of thing.
And then he kind of roped into playing those hits.
That
Yeah.
does segue
Yeah.
nicely to like, because the
Yeah.
biggest creed for DJs is to play to the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know, how is it different playing a set to a live audience
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
band?
Yeah, like
Do you switch it up sometimes, or do you follow your set
yeah, exactly.
to a T?
Because like for a perfect example is like I get booked in Scarborough, right? And obviously if I go and play in Scarborough, I'm gonna play more beachy tunes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then usually they do get acoustic sets down there, and then like the guy, I can't remember, I think his name was Michael or something. But then he's told me in the past that if he goes and plays at Scarborough, he'll try and just make it more beachy and fun and funky and stuff like that. But when he goes and plays at the Guildford Hotel, then it's more like mellow, bluesy, kind of just chill background noise. Would you guys do the same kind of thing?
I think for us, like, we like have branded ourselves and like kind of created our like style or genre that we kind of play, and we have our set, and like that's kind of who we are.
Yeah.
So like no matter what kind of venue or where we go, we like play those songs because that's like, we're not trying to like.
So you've never been to a venue and they've been like, here's the music policy, we want you to play like light and uplifting.
They don't. I don't think they do that. Do
They
they?
don't.
Damo, you know more about a bit about
No.
this.
No, generally no. They'll ask you what type of music you play.
When they
Yeah.
book you.
They don't even.
Because
Yeah.
it's different, like, because a venue will book a live band because of the live band.
Yeah.
At nightclubs, they don't really book DJs because of the DJ, unless they're
Exactly.
really big acts.
Yeah, unless they're a big name or unless
They
they've
will
just got a
book
good
you.
reputation.
They don't care who you are, what you look like, what your gender is, as long as you play their music policy.
Yeah, and see that's exactly like what happened today. Like I got a phone call. They want me to play at the Market Grounds, the grand final after party thing.
Yeah.
And so with that, well not after party, but just the grand final afters at Market Grounds. But they specifically said because they know I'll be able to read the crowd and play appropriately. That's the only reason why I got booked. Because if I didn't know how to play the right music to the right crowd, well, then what's the point of booking me?
Do you ever like change up your set?
Like
So you go like, oh, the crowd's sort of liking us more up tempo songs, so we won't play this one. We'll play this one instead.
As a duo, I feel like yes, we have done that before, but playing in a
That'd
band
be so
setting,
unorganized with bands. That'd be
yeah, like you kind of
Have to
rehearse.
Because you have all that rehearsal and stuff, and to go off the set list is
Yeah,
kind of
and like
uncharted waters.
we
for a
like
band.
kind of
we have
depending
the
on
songs we're playing,
and like we change up the way we play them depending on kind of like
What
the
venue
venue or kind of thing, or like what kind of vibe we kind of want to go, and like if we want to start like really upbeat and then kind of like mix, but you kind of create a set and it's like a performance, so you kind of create that to kind of have those
Exactly, yeah.
different,
So you start off mellow and then by the end you just like all the energy and
Yeah.
everything and just make it work. Kind
That's
of,
what
right?
I miss most about DJing in Perth is like, I like to create my set as like a journey.
Yeah.
You know,
And you
like
can't
like
really do
like
that
the
these
bell
days.
curve in movies. You know, you have your beginning, it's low,
Well,
and
see,
then rising tension,
But-
climax, and then
See, that goes back to exactly like what I was saying before though. Is like with my sets, if I do like a 1 hour set, it's too short. But then for me, I like to do 6 hour DJ sets. And I do that at the Scotto on Wednesdays and Saturdays usually. And when I do 6 hour sets, that's when I can try and not manipulate, but it's like, people come and have their afternoon, like their happy hour, and then they might buy some food, and it's like, okay, well they're sitting down, enjoying themselves. Maybe if I play some Fleetwood Mac, maybe they'll get their feet tapping and maybe singing along or something, and then try and play appropriately to keep them sticking around as long as I can.
You're creating the mood there. aren't you?
Exactly,
Yeah.
the ambience, the
because
vibe.
while we have you here, like that's what I'm very interested in, is the differences between DJing an event and playing as a live band or a duo, whatever. Is just the core concept of the two are different.
Yeah, like you're saying, like you read the crowd, like you're like kind of getting people to stay at a venue for a longer amount of time. Like I guess it's the same kind of principles, but like I guess with DJing you fit your music to that venue and that crowd, whereas like with being an original band,
You're
you
trying to-
kind of have your own.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
brand
saying. They
yourself.
book you
Sound.
because you are
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's
you guys
your-
are Oceanique.
Yeah.
That's why they book you, because
Yeah.
you're
You know,
Oceanique.
you see a DJ set up and you go, oh, okay, there's a DJ setting
Yeah.
up. When you see a band setting up and a band starts performing, that's in your face. That's, oh shit, the band's on stage.
Yeah.
The PA and everything. It's much more of a, it is much more of an
The
event
one thing I
than
won't
DJ.
forget is friggin' song requests. You don't get that as a band.
Never get,
Unless you're like a
No, you
heavy
do.
cover band.
Yeah, unless exactly you're a cover band. Like when they used to have
You guys have probably never got a song request before, right?
No.
No, but I remember at a gig where
Open
someone
mic night when we were first starting out.
someone requested a song to the band before us.
yeah.
But
Was
they
it
were
was
pretty
it one
drunk.
of their songs or one of their tracks that they
no, like
requested?
a cover.
Yeah.
Can you just like fang out ABBA Dancing Queen or something like
Because
that?
I've seen someone do that. Like in Scarborough, I've seen a guy. Someone requested bloody "Sweet Child of Mine," and then the guy's like, "I don't know how to play this, but I'll give it a go."
Yeah, it's the same. Like it's the same concept for a DJ. They come up and they request a song. And you're like, I don't have that song, and they're like, what do you mean you don't have that song? It's like, well, I have a USB with tons of music, but I just don't have that track,
Exactly.
and I can't just like throw it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And voila, here's the song you want.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about like Spotify integration and stuff like that with DJ and stuff, but like,
Yeah, that's technically cheating, though.
I like the idea. I do for like bars and stuff like that, because you will get those song requests.
Yeah.
And having access to Spotify is just like endless possibilities. And you would actually probably, as a DJ, welcome song requests at that stage, right? Makes your job easy. You don't have to read the crowd. You just, you know.
You just get a song request. But
Yeah.
when you're a band, I think that's also why even being a duo is such a confronting thing, because you are the act. You're a DJ,
Yeah.
be like, oh shit, that song didn't do well, and you can just swipe
Yeah.
it.
Exactly, and you're putting yourself out there, and that they're
Yeah.
your songs, and like it's intimidating for sure. But then like you get gigs where people love what you're doing, and like they like love your style, and then you get the gigs where there's not that great of feedback.
Yeah.
But like that's just gigging, and that's just
Yeah.
performing, and there's always going to be people that don't like it. There's always going to be people that love it. So it's kind of just
Well, I guess the biggest thing is you guys ever played a bad gig? Really? Like, have you ever
Yeah.
came
Have you,
across?
don't,
I mean-
without mentioning venue names, because we don't want to badmouth
No.
venues or anything. But have you ever had anything where something's not going right?
And you just go,
Like
"Ah."
for example, right, like at the Scotsman, when we set up with you guys once, and then I set you guys up on a wooden pallet or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
and I was playing the drums, and drums were falling off the
Yeah,
pallet.
the drums fell off the pallet.
Kicks were-
So
kick-
then it's like whilst they're playing, the bloody kick drum falls off, and I'm just looking like, oh, shit, like what do we do?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Do I just walk up
Jesus.
whilst they're playing and just like set it back up, or?
Yeah, or like mid gigs, people like would drop their.
Yeah,
You've ever seen the
30
guitar
minutes
strap?
left.
Just you've seen like people like mid gig, the guitar strap would just fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
not like to that extent of the drum kit falling off,
Yeah.
but like as a keyboard player, you kind of have to set your mic up like at a really weird angle. So like I've had like quite a few times the mic always kind of
just
like
collapse.
falls down.
Yeah, or like
And-
rolls and stuff.
Yeah, and you kind of like if you're singing and like you're just singing and trying to play and the mic is just like
Yeah,
down
then-
here. Like I've tried to like crouch down as much as I can, but like it was actually at the Festival of Voice. Oh, we meant to mention names, but it's just a mic stand.
It's
So,
not that bad though.
but yeah, so like
yeah.
so like it was like falling down. It was just me and Mad playing, and I just like, and the sound guy, I don't know if he didn't see, but like I just had to stop playing, and Mad just carried the whole thing, and I just like fixed it up. And
Yeah, see, that's not the venue's fault though.
Yeah,
that's just
that's
hardware.
just- yeah.
That's just the microphone stand.
yeah, exactly.
And that's the worst,
Nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not like some bartender was doing shady
Yeah,
shit in
you
the background.
accidentally
Yeah.
threw some water on your.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a guitar string snap on you whilst you were playing out in the powder?
touch wood.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, touch wood.
Never
Oh,
yet.
God, that's plastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, never a guitar string. That's like kind of like one of my worst fears, because like to change a guitar string on the spot would freak me out.
Yeah, how long does it? Because I don't really know much
It
about.
takes a
that.
couple of minutes because you got to put it in and then
Yeah.
you got to mix it.
Especially when you're electric guitar.
Yeah, my electric guitar's a bit confusing. So yeah, it would be hard, and that's kind of like scary. But I've had like my tuning pedal, like never used to have a power supply for it, so it was run by battery, and like it would like, I remember like if you have it in the cord in, it like drains the battery.
Yeah.
So like we did sound checked, and then I left it in there. We got off stage for like an hour. Got back up, and my tuning pedal was out of battery. I was like, we have to start like now. Like so, I just had to like plug it into my amp, and the whole set, I was like, my guitar's out of tune. feel like it's out of tune. But I don't think it was, and it wasn't
No.
even that bad, so
Yeah.
it was fine. But like nothing too.
Yeah,
kind
because
of.
see, a lot of things. Well, one thing that I always do is I record all my DJ sets, and that way I can use it like a resume, and I can re-listen to what I've played out and about.
Yeah.
And so that way, if I mix two songs together and it doesn't sound right or they're out of key, I'm like, oof, like I realise that I can go back and try and fix that.
Yeah.
But then with that, it's just like recording them. I can kind of just. I forgot where I was going with that. So I just
I
get
think I
the-
know exactly what you're going with.
Yeah, like
is
get
that, is that it's self-reflection.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about being in the band is that when you're on stage, it's such a daunting thing. You're trying to focus as much as you can on not trying to.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Being wearing many hats, playing the
Yeah.
song, and looking
Yeah.
charismatic.
Yeah.
And you kind of, there's always this niggling feeling in the back of your head. You're like, did I do well?
Yeah.
Did the audience enjoy it? And people
Yeah.
come up to you and shake your hand and be like, that was a great set. And you go, and I don't know.
And
Mm.
that's
Because you're not
exactly
there.
it.
You're in a bubble on
Yeah.
stage.
And that's exactly it. Like I've
Yeah.
had that so many times where I've gone and played a set somewhere nice, and I just thought like I just stuffed that whole
Yeah.
thing up, and then re-listened to it. Like the perfect example is I went and played at a winery on Sunday afternoon. So I was playing like old background 80s, 70s, 60s, and like just really mellow 90s and like instrumental acoustic
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And like after I thought, nah, I've just completely stuffed that whole thing
Yeah.
up. Re-listened to it and it was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And the staff seemed happy with it, but I was so self-aware.
Yeah.
I was like, I've just, no, that wasn't good.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure when you guys, like when you guys started off, I'm sure you guys were like petrified of like touching
Yeah.
these triggers. And
Yeah, like our first couple of gigs, they were only like, actually, because like at TAFE we do the performance
Yeah.
there, so like probably that was one of our first ones. But
yeah.
so like I feel like the first gig, you kind of just like you practice so much, and then you get up there and you almost like it has to be second knowledge what you're playing
Yeah.
like on your instrument, because you're not looking at what you're playing, you're trying to look at the audience.
Yeah.
So like now that we've played like so many gigs, it's kind of like
Enjoyable.
you
Yeah.
can enjoy it more because you know that like you're gonna play the right note, and if you do play the wrong note, like you kind of know how to like
Segue into something else.
yes and
Yeah.
not make it so noticeable.
Yeah.
How did you guys find like getting up in front of people as well? Did you find it easy?
At the
At
start,
start,
it was hard,
yeah.
but we just gigged as much as we could and did like open mics and stuff like that to try and like
Yeah, and I
make
just
it
remember
easier.
like the first show I remember actually being on stage, actually being in the moment of like playing,
Yeah.
and it's like amazing.
Mm.
And then you kind of just hone into that kind of like moment of just like you're on this stage, you're playing music, you're doing what you love, like
It's
just
like-
be
Such a
happy
way-
about
Yeah,
it.
Such a big
Yeah,
exactly. And
yeah.
some of like the first gigs you play are only like 20 minutes, half an hour, and like that's such a short time. So like I just find there's not really why I get so nervous and worried like that you're gonna like make a mistake, or like just enjoy it.
Have you had people dancing as well? Like getting up from their chairs and going to have like a little jig or anything, or like dancing with their wife or girlfriend or anything like that?
For duo, like not so
Kind of
much.
even more like to sit back and appreciate it.
Yeah.
With the band though at all?
For our band
Yeah.
launch, we had kind of had like, it was really great. We kind of had like a big, like people were at the front, which is great, and
It's
like that
one
was
of our first like gigs that we actually like headlined, so it was like
Yeah, so
What
it
dance
was
was that?
459.
No way.
But we kind of like organised that night,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
like
remember because I saw the posters on. Was it a
Yeah.
pretty packed venue that night?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty good. We got like 60,
Seven?
70 people
It
through
was
the
a great venue
door.
because
Not
it's so
bad.
small.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
It's
for
better than I could
really
do
a
it.
band launch. Like this is the first time. Really, that's the first time you gigged as a band. So
Yeah.
people showed up. That's pretty good.
And we kind of like promoted it that way, and we kind of, which was kind of like, I think back now, like why did we do our first ever band gig and like make it a night, like when we that's our first night playing, like
But I think it's the best way of
gigging.
doing it. man.
Yeah.
yeah, it worked out well, and it was
It's, a
great.
it's like your
Yeah.
lightning bolt on the music scene.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
it's like that joke. It's like the Henry Rollins joke where he's playing at a festival and he just started off. It's like 7 a.m. He's like, who the fuck is gonna be at a festival at 7 a.m. He's like, nah, man. The two managers like, nah, you gotta think of it like you're a lightning bolt, the first one to strike into the audience. He's like, dude, I'm looking out. The only people here are guys who are passed out from the night before. You know what I mean? But it's like, but I think that is like that sort of mindset of that is your first gig and you're coming out like, both barrels and
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
making
How-
the night out of it too.
How
That's
was it
great
getting off the
promotion.
stage though, like, as well?
Yeah.
Like when you guys finished and got off the stage, were you just like, wow, that was so good, kind of thing?
Yeah.
It was exciting.
It was
Yeah.
weird because like playing as a duo, you can hear your vocals so easy, and like I didn't realize the band kind of setting of like how hard it is to even hear your instrument.
Yeah.
So it was weird, and I was kind of like, did we like hit the notes right? Did we sing it right? But like I feel like it's more kind of like
It was great.
Yeah,
I
it was
remember getting off stage with my guitar, like, because you put the gear at the back of the room and the stage is, like, at the other side. So I had my guitar, like, all my leads, and, like, people were just, like, stopping you. Like, you guys did so good. Like, just, like stopping to chat.
Like,
it took me, like, half an hour to get my guguitar to
and
my
we
case.
weren't even, like, talking to the same people. Like, I was talking to a whole different, like, line of people. And it was just, like, so many. So it was, like, really great.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah,
it's such a good feeling though when you're just like trying to do, trying to put your guitar away.
Yeah.
And someone's like, no, like you did awesome. Like you're really,
and
really
you just
good.
like have your arms full of like
and you're
cables
just, like,
and
just trying to
stuff.
put my
Yeah,
away. Like,
it's
just,
awesome.
I'll come back. Like let's go have a beer or something.
Yeah.
It was awesome feeling though, kind of having that like people there for you and like kind of thing. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Well, I think that kind of like goes back to the whole like discussion we had before the camera started rolling about connections in the Perth scene. Do you think that sort of like environment of you were talking about how you were in like this gig in Frio and you saw like Stella Donnelly's guitarist doing the photos there. Demon Days were playing. and stuff.
Yeah, we had like one of our first gigs we went to. We saw Demon Days play at the Lucky Goat Factory, which is in Frio. It's like an art gallery and they hold gigs there and
Can
stuff.
you pull that up? I've actually never heard of it.
I don't know if
They
it's,
do.
there's,
I don't know if
if
there's
there's anything. It's kind of like
I feel like the only gigs I've heard has been like
through like the network, and it's
Yeah.
all
so
word
funny
of
if that's the venue we're looking
What
at.
am I looking? What venue?
the Lucky Goat Factory.
Imagine if that's the venue we're looking at for the event next year.
The
That'd be
Lucky
so
Goat
funny.
Factory.
And I think
I don't even know if they have Facebook or anything. I don't know. It's kind of like a network thing, but yeah, we looked back on photos and like there was people from Stella Donnelly's band. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure
That's
that's
it?
it. They don't really. They do art and stuff, but
No,
they
it's
just.
oh yeah, it is art.
Yeah, so they hold gigs there, but it's not really like. Yeah, it's a great little venue.
We've got a shop here.
Hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure people live there, and the way they like make their money like to pay rent is by like hosting gigs and like selling art. And
That's
stuff
awesome.
Like that. Yeah,
So
I
cool.
think I'm not sure if that's 100% correct, but
Yeah,
just an
that's it,
organic
yeah.
thing. Wow.
It's not bad.
But it's like because it's also crazy because like how you're saying like you shake people's hands afterwards. You could go up to like Demon Days and because it's such a small venue, be like, oh man, I love your shit. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh thanks man. Yeah. They
Yeah.
kinda-
It looks like a
Can you go
really
back a photo?
intimate.
Yeah.
That one.
I think I know that guy with the long hair.
That's great, Alex.
Yeah, I know. I thought I might just slip it in there.
Yeah. Do you guys
Wow.
Do you guys remember where you saw the photos
Yeah, I
from
know.
you guys at the Ghost Factory? We'd love to pull up those.
Oh, I didn't even know. I think it just popped up on my Facebook like a while back. I have
Oh.
no idea.
No, okay.
But yeah.
She's the owner.
it was just back when we like didn't know a lot about the Perth scene at all, and we were just like there,
Yeah.
like standing next to people like Noah Dillon, and just like
Yeah.
had no idea.
That is a cool setup though.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
it's
Did you guys
awesome.
have the projector on in the background as well? At all? With any visuals or anything?
Oh, we didn't.
We-
play.
we haven't
didn't
played.
there.
No.
Right.
No, but they did, and we went there on Saturday. There was a gig there on Saturday, and they had the projector going. It was so cool.
Nice.
It was awesome. It's a really cool venue, and they have like a whole outside bit as well. They
Yeah.
have like a boat.
Really? What? A
Yeah.
boat?
Yeah, but it's
like
just like
a huge wooden
huge
boat
wooden
that's
boat.
like just like you
It's
can
got
sit
seats
in
and
and
stuff
stuff
in it. It's
outside.
really
Yeah,
cool,
it's really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
There's lots of artwork and stuff. It's really awesome.
Well, we've already got like a couple of minutes left.
yeah,
You guys, let's do it.
26 minutes
We got
left.
26 minutes
Let's
left.
pull up the song you guys
Yeah.
wrote and listen
Let's
to that.
listen to that. Yeah, and let's just spend the last
Yeah.
26 minutes discussing music.
Yeah.
The shit with this, the shit that we all love.
Yeah.
Alright, well, lucky for you, I already have this pulled up somewhere, so...
Well, this is actually like we're
Shout out to my boy
releasing.
Mitchell.
Yeah, we're releasing this song as like a single.
What night and what day? Is this in
9th
November?
9th of November at
And what venue?
Clancy's in Frio, Clancy's
Yeah.
Fremantle.
Can
Yeah,
you look at the camera and say that for us?
9th of November
Well,
at
we've
Clancy's
got a
Fremantle.
few images here, so...
Oh, that's from the band launch.
Oh,
that
that's
one.
the 459.
Is that the Rosemount?
That's the
459, yeah,
459.
Rosemount, same place.
It's such a great.
Oh, is that
place.
actually what it's called? The 459 is the Rosemount?
It's like the
No.
small
Yeah,
stage.
the side,
Yeah.
the side road.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I thought the 459 was up
So
near
that's you,
Hillary's or
Jess?
something.
Yes.
I think
Oh.
a
And that's you,
399
Matt.
or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
the 399. That's like a club, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think,
bar.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe a wrong place.
No, you're
And what
you're
else
right.
have we... Okay, we've seen this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look at it again. No, it's
It's a bit blurry.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's zoomed in 200%.
Are you dating
No.
No.
Okay.
No, we're just still
We're-
really good
we're
mates.
mates.
That's okay. No, it's just like, you know, it's just, man, like I heard like a story about how Kathy, what's her last name? Kathy. She had.
That's a pretty cool.
That's
like,
from Walpole.
Yeah, our
This
sister
is in Walpole,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
yeah. If you, that's like a cool single launch or album cover or anything.
Yeah. That's really nice.
Thanks.
No, but apparently, like the guitarist was her husband, and the monitors guy was in love with Kathy, and then it caused like such a big issue that it literally like the band had to not tour for a couple
This
of years.
is a really cool photo.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah.
a really good photo. Yeah,
Is that just
you.
fairy lights in between the trees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's really good.
That's actually a really cool photo.
Yeah, our sister-in-law's a
If
photographer.
you guys ever want to make a music video, just hit me up. I've got a few in my time. Just saying.
Nice plug.
I've actually done a lot of music videos for folky kind of things
Oh,
like that.
cool.
And this photo in particular reminds me of a music video I did where we went to the Ellenbrook Pine Plantation.
Oh hell yeah! That's
And so it was a
awesome.
whole story set up around the lead singer Hayley Taylor, who's the artist. She just broke up with her boyfriend of like 7 years or something like that, and so she wrote this like breakup song, but she framed it in a way that he had died,
Yeah.
and so the story was like he'd died, and she just was like so mortified. She just went for a walk, and she ended up in the pine plantation, and there's all these like little memories scattered around the forest, and then she comes up with this like tent, and it's got all these lights all over it, and photos hung up of their time together.
Wow.
And that's what this photo reminds me of. But I don't want to talk too much about myself. Humble brags. Always humble brags.
I think it's close out of that. You just go back.
You want to listen to their music now?
Yeah. No, but those are gorgeous. Yeah, thanks so much for pulling those photos, man. They're gorgeous photos.
Yeah. I like that photo and that photo.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Did you guys write the bio yourselves, or did you get?
Do you want
No,
us to show you
no,
bio?
you
or-
don't know.
No, you don't even.
It's on our
write
Facebook
bio.
page. People can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So-
wrote it about ourselves and like writing about yourself and talking yourself up.
Took us
So hard.
so long,
It
like,
is, yeah.
and everyone was like, "You got to come up with something kind of
Yeah,
like
you have to come
cool
up
and
with
like
something.
kind of like interesting." And it took us like ages to.
We kind
actually
of
write.
took it as like writing like almost like a song and like
Yeah.
trying to make it interesting kind of thing,
Yeah.
but writing our bio.
Yeah, similar thing with me. With my Facebook page, I used to have 700 likes on it and everything. It had a decent bio and all sorts of stuff, but then Sony took it off me, and it took me.
Sony took it off you.
Yeah, when I was doing live streams inside.
Oh, damn.
That's part of the reason why I didn't like the idea of doing DJ live streams anymore.
Yeah,
'Cause-
they can just copy strike you.
It got copyright.
Well, you're
strikes
doing it
and
on the
then-
wrong platform because I was doing it on Twitch and it was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
go
I was
on.
doing
We'll do
Facebook.
live. Yeah, those
But
are
then
better.
what ended up happening was, the bio for that took me like a week and a half, 2 weeks, just sitting there like at least half an hour a day, just thinking about how I could try and talk about my career.
It's almost
and
like
what
writing.
I'm doing.
You're writing a resume. for your
Yeah.
band.
Well,
it
exactly.
really
Because
is.
you don't start with something and get to an end. It's kind of like you write the beginning of where you started and what you're doing.
When the podcast is
And
over,
then-
I'll show you my press package.
Oh yeah, your press package.
Yeah, it's
No, I'm a bit-
terrible.
But you gotta admit though, it's because it's like you don't write like your career's finished or anything. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
and we're going on to do more things.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
constantly updating and changing. Like we
Exactly.
update our bio like nearly every week, couple of weeks.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's like what you said. Like if you're an artist and you have let's say you're Bob Dylan, you're writing his autobiography. You got the privilege of looking back, or the positive of looking back at like 50 years of career, and you're not really doing anything more really. So you could be like, oh, I guess my journey's more or less over. I can then scan through 50 years. When you're starting off, you're like, oh shit, like I'm trying to sell myself to you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you haven't really done anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know what to say to try and
Yeah.
get your audience or your market and try and make
Yeah.
it work, kind of thing.
Yeah. You're just trying to show yourself as a cool guy.
Hit that shit.
Do you guys want to introduce the track, explain what it's about, or anything like that
Oh, this
before we play it?
I don't know. This is going to be our single, and it's coming out like a couple weeks before our launch. I think like late 25th of October.
Nice.
So-
it's called
Paper mache.
Paper mache.
Yeah, it's spelled like that.
Yeah, paper.
Can you-
Yeah.
Mitch, do you mind muting the mics for us just so nothing like bleeds through? Like just there's no double ups. You know what I mean?
So, but that means you won't be able to talk.
Yeah.
I know, but like, that's the problem because we're playing music through that. It's gonna like bleed into the mic.
No,
so
you'll
you
be
get double
fine.
up.
No, if it's quiet.
It'll be
Okay,
fine
really
as
down.
long as it's quiet.
Oh yeah, I
out
took
there.
it down. Oh, we're good then.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
I've turned it up on the stream so they'll be able to hear it better than
Oh,
what we
beautiful.
can. So,
We're good then.
Very
Alright.
nicely done.
Yeah.
shall we begin then?
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, let's
play this.
hear it.
Just get off. You can turn it up.
Got another heart can find. How is meant to you last night?
It actually has a tempo change. It goes like 5 beats higher. But when we did it, like we naturally set it up and played it, but like
I guess we just have to work it out.
we have to speed it up. And it's like 5 minutes. That's not like at all, but it makes such a difference.
Maybe it's born inside of me.
It's all good. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. As I said, I turned it up.
There's like the line just there said paper mache, but like I don't know. I don't know. We don't like name songs that like is like has a main focus line. I don't know.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
There's something about paper mache.
And when we wrote the line, paper mache, like doesn't make sense. But then it kind of like
just fitted.
like the whole thing.
Got that playing.
Everyone says a no and
How
no.
many was something to play down? Trying to work. This song actually originally had another chorus that we like we played full song live, but the recording like just chorus. And I think it's best to yeah, and like you kind of like leaves your voice left right.
How long is that song, by the way?
3 minutes,
Wow.
15, 17.
What's the longest song you guys have written?
I remember
Shortest.
when we first started writing, we wrote like a 5-minute song. And we're like, you know, I think everyone needs a good 5-minute song, and it was just too long. Like, and so I don't know. We have probably like 4.5-minute songs.
Yeah, and like our shortest one is probably
Like
3 minutes.
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
they say that the average attention span of a person is about around 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then also I think it's like sometimes it can, I can't remember what statistic it was, but I'm pretty sure it's like 30 seconds and 4 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Because then it's like what I've noticed whenever I play music out and about, you know, no one wants to listen to the whole song.
No.
You know, they want to listen to
The keys.
the best part of it and then the best part of whatever else and just like make it work kind of thing. But what about the shortest song though?
Like
Sure.
shortest song of ours.
Yeah.
It's like
20 seconds, 10 seconds.
no, I think like our shortest song's probably like just under 3 minutes.
Oh, really?
Because like it'd be like a song with like 2 choruses, like a good couple of verses, and I don't know. I guess we wouldn't write like a song that's just a minute long.
What is your favourite song to play?
It's always usually our newest song.
But I don't
With the
know.
band, what do you reckon? Probably 5-hour drive.
Yeah, it's like this song we wrote about. We wrote it for our mum actually for Mum's Day because we weren't there.
That's
Yeah, and
it
everyone loves
was
that
not
story.
intended to be in the set at all, and then we kind of were like, this is a cool song.
Yeah, it's like in like 6/8, so it's got a lot of like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I guess that's favourite to play with the band. Kind of can get into it and stuff. So yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to like discuss like 50 minutes. I want to like just talk music. You know? I just want to talk music. You guys do it?
Yeah.
You guys.
What instruments do you guys got to use as well? Because we were going to bring that up.
Actually, that's a good question. Yeah.
Because you said it was the Starlet guitar or something?
It's a Gretsch.
Gretsch.
So it's like a hollow body, semi-hollow body, and it's like an emerald kind of green color. If you search Gretsch Georgia Green, it's very pretty. And like half the time, like people are just like, your guitar's so beautiful. Like, so.
That's like, I know.
Oh yeah, thanks
I
for
look
telling
at
me.
it every day.
But no, it's just a gorgeous guitar. It's really great to play. And yeah, I used to play acoustic and I still do for some shows, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's a Gretsch too.
Yeah.
I just bought a Gretsch guitar. Yeah, they're phenomenal. They're great guitars.
It's got like the Bigsby on it and stuff, so.
Yeah, my brother's got like an orangey red one.
Yeah. No, but they're just phenomenal guitars to play. They got such a nice.
It's like the one, it's not that one with the black pickguard, it's like the one, yeah, one of those, yeah, like that, yeah.
Is it heavy or is it like pretty solid?
I think it does, it's not too bad, like it's not extremely like heavy or anything.
That's
Big.
It's big. It's like kind of same size as like roundness of like an acoustic almost.
Do you ever
like-
find that it's like, you know, if you got your neck strap on, stuff like you can feel it on your shoulders, or like it's actually too heavy sometimes?
I've never really like felt like that. I don't know. I'm just like I love playing
too
guitar.
buff, just too strong.
Maybe. I don't know. I just love playing guitar. Like I guess like if we're rehearsing a lot, like my neck or whatever will get sore holding it because
Yeah.
it's like it is a piece of wood that you are holding.
Just like,
And it's really just your neck and your shoulder holding it up. You
Yeah.
don't hold on to it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, there's something about like playing an instrument where you can move around. I really like.
you should look into a guitar.
Yeah, I should.
Oh yeah, that's the keyboard guitar.
The keyboard
Yeah,
guitar,
yeah.
yeah.
What type of keyboard do you use? Oh, what were you going to say?
No, I was about to say. I thought you were about to say that.
Okay. Well, what type of keyboard do you use?
I have a Nord, but like the one I have's kind of got like it's like a HP kind of keys. So
Chord?
a Nord.
Nord, yeah.
What's the age?
And do you know what the model is?
Electro 4
Yeah, down there. Third from the bottom.
with the HP. Oh no, that's the 6.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then Oh wow, you got one of those nice red ones.
Yeah, I got mine second hand, so it wasn't that expensive.
Is it
like
the
that
lead
one?
4 performance? Like that? Has it got like that stuff in the middle?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so cool.
Except for mine's not exactly like that.
Yeah, that's a 4D. You said 4P?
4 HP.
4 HP.
Yeah, it's kind of got more weighted keys to feel like a piano.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. But
That's the 4D though, isn't it? Try find the 4 HD.
HP,
Oh, HP.
They're all.
yeah, they all look exactly the same.
It's all red.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one.
I'm trying to find one with a big enough resolution.
Type in HD after maybe.
Well, actually, fine.
I'll just
Yeah.
zoom in.
So what is it in the center? So that's like your levels there. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and it's kind of because it's got so many different sounds that I have yet to explore.
So they're all the different sounds on the right hand side, right?
Yeah, well,
written
it's got
down.
like the organ section and then like the piano section and then more of like the synthy kind of section.
That's
So
pretty cool. Does it have built-in delays and filters?
yeah,
and
like
stuff
lots
The
of
one really good one is called the ping pong effect.
Oh,
my
yeah,
personal
ping pong. I love
favourite.
ping pong delays.
How would you
Yeah.
describe the ping pong effect to people that don't know though? Because isn't it just bouncing from left to right?
Well, see, yes, I think when I experimented on Jess's keyboard, I used the ping pong effect with a delay. So it was pretty fun to kind of play with, to be honest.
Well, it's like a phaser. I mean, the word would be a phaser because it's kind of
Yeah, it kind of like
image bounces.
bounces and kind of like fades out at the same time.
Yeah. It's like hello.
Yeah, it's really.
And with the delay, it's like hello.
Yeah.
Way
that's
more.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So cool. So
Bring the image back up. Let's get looking at it. So then on the left hand side, that top knob up in the top left, is that the master volume and everything?
Yes.
And what do the buttons below it do? Yeah. It's actually
It's kind of for like the organ section. So like it's got like lots of different organs.
Well, I mean, I can try and get at that.
Yeah, try find out what the heck it is. And then does it, so in the middle, does it have a recorder as well, at all? Like you can record your keyboard and then like play over the top of it kind of, or?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean,
does.
It probably does, but Nords are just so like spaceships that like there's so much they can do that I have no idea.
What are the outputs like? Those like the red and white RCAs at all, or is
No,
it?
it's stereo. No, it's
Stereo.
water.
Stereo, yeah.
Quarter inch. Does
Yeah.
it have MIDI out as well, so you can plug into a computer?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Would you
Yeah.
ever try plugging into a into a DAW like Fruity Loops or Ableton or anything like that? Or?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really.
Thank you, Mitchell.
That's awesome. So you got the levels.
That's the right one, right? I've got the right one.
No, but they're all. This it's pretty much.
It's pretty much the same.
The only thing that's different is the organ section. They're not like those.
Yeah.
So the black and white little levels, what do they do as well?
They're kind of.
That'd be simple EQ settings, right?
No, the EQ's on the right. They're for more of like the different effects for the organs. Like.
Yeah, reverb and delay levels.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool though. That's really cool. So then you can assign that to each thing, so you have delay, phaser, reverb, whatever
You can
else.
probably automate it too. You can probably save like those banks. You can probably save each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can save it because like when I first got it, I like went through all the piano kind of settings and tried to like add effects and stuff on it to make like the sound that I like to use.
Yeah.
Took me a while, but then you just have it saved and like there's a bank where you can save all other settings
And
and
so
stuff
that's
like
exactly that's the thing about musical instruments is like you got to play with it until you figure out what you like, and then you know make that work kind of thing.
And then change it each time until you find the perfect one.
Yeah. Because see, like bringing that back to the DJing, it's like for me, I use a thing called Tractor S4, and so with that, no one uses that in the industry. I don't know why.
They do,
Yeah,
just
they
in
do.
niche areas.
In niche areas, even though they're better than Pioneer, and I'll openly say that.
Well, everyone
Fight
knows that.
me.
It's just that Pioneer is so ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly it. But then it's like last week with Lewis, he's like, why don't you use Pioneer? Nah, I'm not doing that.
I mean, fair enough. Go you, right?
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. It's like with that, if you can master and like you learn that, that's your instrument. That's you play on your instrument.
Becomes
If
part
you
of
were to-
you.
Yeah, and if you were to jump on another keyboard that was matched completely different, you might be similar. You go, okay, that's there and that's there now. I can still do that by doing these two things or whatever else. But with that, like you can make that muscle memory.
I think it's just different, like, because with music, specifically being in a band, you're like being a pianist or a guitarist, you're an individual section of the whole.
Yeah.
Whereas a DJ, you are the whole.
Exactly.
So when you're a DJ, you can just bring a USB, and that's why Pioneer is ubiquitous, because nobody wants to spend 7, 8, 9, 10 grand on a Pioneer setup so they can bring it with them wherever they go. Those flight cases are heavy,
They
by
are.
the way.
Yeah.
But also, I think the live band sort of industry it's expected of you that you bring your own equipment.
Most of them.
Yeah.
That's the stock standard for DJing at nightclubs and at mainstream venues. You're not expected to bring your own gear ever.
Yeah. Have you guys ever played a gig where they've already set up for it? Because like, you know, we were joking about before how good it would be just to
Show
not
up.
have to, not to have to set up and show up.
Yeah, have you ever rocked up to an event and they have the keyboard and
Well, they've already got it.
Nah.
See, I think it's just stock
Or
standard.
drum kit, like there's always one. There's like always like you share the drum kit with other bands. You bring your own cymbals and snare or whatever. But like,
In the last band's usually the first one. Last band's one that provides the kit.
yeah. This is kind of generally how it works. But
'Cause
I don't
no one's gonna
know.
Look around a goddamn five-piece drum
Oh,
kit
it's a
everywhere.
pain.
Yeah, just like nobody wants to lug around a fucking 10 grand Pioneer setup.
Oh no, that seems easier than a bloody. drum
Even though
kit.
my friend Dan does do that all the time.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
Dragging 10 grand around, alright.
Yeah. Well, not quite 10 grand, but pretty close.
Alright, so we've got 5 minutes left.
I was gonna say, is there anything guys?
Yeah, like,
Shout outs to anybody in particular? Just one.
should we do like a little live review? Just like how we thought everything went?
No.
We'll do that after.
We'll let you guys plug your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have upcoming events, or do you
Well-
want to send people to your Facebook page? What do you want?
You can find us on Facebook at it's just Oceanique Music, and same on Instagram.
I'll make sure to put them in the description after the video.
Yeah, and like I say, we have a single coming out, and like all support is greatly appreciated. That's what I was
Are
supposed
you
to
guys
say.
holding a launch for your
Yeah, on the 9th of November at Clancy's in Fremantle.
Clancy's a good venue?
I love Clancy's.
Beautiful.
Great venue. Ooh, we're kind of finalising lineup and set times at the moment. Probably like after 10:30, because we'll be headlining. But yeah, I don't know.
Does Clancy's close at 12 o'clock? Or is it close?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably be playing like 45-minute set.
Yeah.
Pretty good. 45-minute set. I think that's a really great. That's like
Oh, band,
Band,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure, yeah. So I'm really excited for that one, and we're planning like another single release. It's not really confirmed yet, but like in Walpole, we're gonna try and hold a launch there early, like in January.
Yeah.
And then we're in the works of planning a mini little tour up the coast to Perth.
nice. Oh
So
yeah.
like Geraldton kind of ways and Calgary or?
I know, like from Walpole, kind of like play Albany, Denmark, like Walpole, like
maybe like
Margaret River,
Bustleton,
like
yeah.
Bustleton, Bunbury kind of thing.
That's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
Dunlesborough, maybe some of this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, big great.
Those country towns, I love like out
Yeah,
of town.
that's
And
right.
Not even out of town. You guys are in town.
Yeah.
Come on, they're trying to do something. You guys support them.
Yeah.
Because do you think that actually? Do you think you've actually? Do you think in your country towns? Do you think that there's a lot of actual support? Like, do you have messages from like friends and family from back home being like, "Oh, it's so awesome what you're doing"?
Yeah,
you
we
got
like
support?
when we go back there, like people are like, you need to play down here,
Yeah.
like they're really happy for us kind of doing what we're doing and stuff, which is great. That's why we kind of wanted to like release another single and have it down there.
Yeah.
And then also like
Show
gives us a
them
chance, yeah, to plan a gig down there. Because if you're gonna do one, it's kind of like got to be like a big one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because like there's only 500 people in the
Yeah.
town.
Oh, but if
Yeah, where you
I
go.
was gonna say if 500 people show up.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Right. Yeah.
But then, yeah, lugging all your equipment down there as well, because you'd have
Yeah.
to take the drum kits and everything, right?
Yeah. With the band, and like I don't know about the PA down there either, so
Yeah.
it's
Do
kind
you
of.
guys own a van?
Yeah. Oh, rent a van. Rent a van's like what?
Isn't that a very band thing to do? Isn't it?
We don't, but we are actually in the process of
Selling our car
and getting a van.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What type of van? Like Hiace or?
Hi-Ace is like top of the range. We're kind of like looking more
Yeah, Land
towards
Rover,
like
man. Yeah.
Just get a beat up Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Combi
You
van.
don't even need a van. You can get like a family wagon. Get like a family wagon,
Yeah.
station wagon. They're huge.
Yeah.
That's true.
yeah. We're looking at like the
Look around, man.
Mitsubishi Deleted.
Yeah.
Because the seats fold up in there.
It's like really cool because then if Jess and I ever want to do any touring, the seats like there's like 7-seater, but they fold to the side,
Yeah.
and then the two ones in the middle like turn around, so you
Oh.
can like put like a full mattress in there and like
Yeah, that's
touring
pretty
van.
Like sleep in the bed.
Yeah.
And then you can always have like 7 seats, so it's great.
Exactly.
Dan goals right there.
So sweet. So cool. Well, hopefully, like, we've got 1 minute left. I hope like this
Yeah.
podcast really
Thanks
like.
for having us.
No,
Yeah,
so
thank
fun.
you.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on.
No
It's
worries.
really good.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
This has worked out a lot better than the other ones. Like a lot better than the
Yeah.
other ones.
Yeah, I think
Well, the one we did last week was quite professional and
that was a
good
good one.
for the first official kind of thing. But the other couple have
The
just been
test
great
ones.
tests.
The test
count.
ones.
They don't count anymore. We've moved on.
You guys are
Yeah.
just starting out. You're
They're
doing
like
great.
demos. They're like people like look up and be like, oh, what the fuck are these guys doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's hey, when you're talking about when you start off, that's you starting off, man. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Right. You're doing good.
It's
Yeah.
like
awesome.
so when you see your first song, it's like this is shit. So you just burn it.
All right, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, do you want to do your sign off?
Yep. So thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Jess, for coming on and talking
Thank
about
you.
Oceanique. Damo, thank you for being a co-host
So it
and
was
doing
a
your
pleasure.
thing and
It was a
like
pleasure,
running
mate.
through the notes and everything because I can't read your bloody handwriting.
I'm a fancy boy.
Very
Mitch,
nice.
thank you very much for being the Jamie of the night and looking
Cheers.
after us. And this is the Infra-Red podcast signing off for the official second episode, but this is our proper first episode tonight.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Will you say that next week?
no, this is our proper because
It's
We'll get it.
episode
We'll
two.
get it. Hey man, we'll get it eventually.
yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just the guys I interviewed last time. They've just started out in the industry, but they haven't even really played many places.
No, it's good to get like perspectives from
Exactly,
the people
yeah.
starting out and also the people who are at the
Yeah.
top of their game. So
But that's what's so good about this one is this is the first one where it's not been DJs or electronic music or anything. It's actually acoustic.
talking about
analog.
something that's outside our comfort zone.
Yeah,
So.
and that's
Ah,
kind of the reason
cool.
why I got Damo to kind of take the reins a bit tonight because I've always been involved in the electronic industry.
Yeah.
And I don't really know much about the band industry. My brother's the band head. I'm the DJ
But
basically.
it's so cool to seeing how like all these different aspects of the music industry link up in the end. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a beautiful patchwork, and we're all
Yeah.
part of this quilt.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
That's actually so cute. I want to get that quote.
All right.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in. The 55 playbacks that we had tonight. And we will see you next week Tuesday with more guests and more fun. And
Do we know who's on next week?
no, not as of yet.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry, I do know. Next week is a very good friend called Liam, who is thinking about purchasing a bar soon,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, he's
Ospo
been
night.
he's been involved in the hospitality industry for I think 10 years.
Right.
I think. So yeah, we're going to get him on and talk about bars and what's been happening around the city with the nightlife and everything. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Infra-Red podcast, and we will see you next week.
Liam Jones.
Yeah, Liam Jones. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Josh, Steve, David, and Alec, our loyal listeners.
Woo!